my God. Flo, that looks not good.
No, it is not good. I was injured 1 or 2 years ago on the ankle, and the leg is a bit of my, I would say, sweet spot. And now it happened again with the knee. Okay, something new. Yeah, now the knee's injured last night, right in time for Italy. So I'm totally devastated. Yeah, so I won't go. But the good thing is, I've got something really cool to show Garrett. We've been working on this for a few weeks now, or even months. It's something to do with his helmet. And for the first time, he will race his very own helmet design in Vallelunga. I think it's the first time in his career that he has got his bespoke design. He's really excited about it. He hasn't seen it yet. So at least I can bring something positive despite my bad luck, you know.
Hello. How are you? Not great, I know. I'm awful. No, it's okay. It's okay.
Any good news with it?
No. There it is. I mean, we've seen the design.
We've seen it.
But I think it's...
But have we really seen it? Is the question.
Have we overlooked something?
Man, that is beautiful. Hey, look at this, guys.
Oh my God. Wow. Speechless.
Dude, this is awesome.
I think it turned out really as it should.
Yes.
Do you think you're quicker with that helmet?
I don't know. They say pants worth 2 tenths, right?
Oh yeah. First time.
To be honest, it's something different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh damn. That's pretty sick.
That was good stuff. It was worth it.
Good morning. We're getting ready to get on the plane to Rome for the second round of the NASCAR Euro Series. We are very excited to see what happens, and yeah, everyone is pumped up. Let's go.
Welcome to Italy, Garrett.
Thank you.
What are you looking forward to the most in Italy? Do you have something in mind?
Pasta. Big spaghetti fan. I really want to try their pizza. That's first on the bucket list. We're short on time today, so it's maybe a tonight or tomorrow problem. But at some point we will do it, and I'll be happy, and that's all I need.
Do you know what that is?
Yes, that's the Coliseum.
So we got some special guests today. How do you like Rome so far?
Yeah, very good, very nice. Pretty good, I really like it.
Good.
Hello guys, my name is Ryan Barneveld. I'm a sim racer and team coordinator for BS Plus competition since 5 years.
Nice.
Make it shorter. Keep it short.
Have you ever thought that you see the Colosseum in real life?
No, I did not. That wasn't on the list, and here we are enjoying it very much.
Right now we're in front of the Fontana di Trevi. So the queue, unfortunately, is too long.
So the legend is you toss a coin, you have to right hand over your shoulder. It's supposed to be good luck. But we're on our little hot lap of Rome here. We don't have enough time. So we're going to look, pretend we're tossing our quarter, and get back. And then get to the track.
Are you hot?
It's a little humid here today. Beautiful 75 degrees with high humidity. I found one. Mercy. Authentic Italian version of the Rattler. Oh, that's good. That is right, really close to the German version, but not quite there, but very good, very refreshing.
What do you give it?
It's going to be a 10. The Rattler's a 10.5 in the German version, and I give it a 10 here in the Italian version.
The crew's here.
Looks like a lot of support here.
Gentlemen, good to see you. We haven't seen each other yet.
Yeah, good to see you, man. Hey guys, I'm Philippe Dennis, a sim racer for BS Plus competition and also a real racer for Imperiale Racing in the Italian GT Championship.
Everybody looks decked out.
Except me, yeah.
Except Phil. It's okay. We'll give him the pass, okay? We'll give Phil the pass. He gets this one time.
So Phil, you're a sim racer like Garrett, but you already raced here in real life. Do you have any tips for Garrett?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, this track requires a lot of commitment here, especially in the first sector. You really have to be smooth on the brakes going into the lower speed corners and really modulate the trail brake, and try and really roll the speed. It's really important to roll the speed around this entire track. That's my biggest tip, and keep it on the track. With Florian, we always had the dream of running a BS competition livery on a BMW M4 GT3, and last year we made that a reality, and I raced in the Italian GT Endurance Championship. And right here, last year was my first round with them, and we managed to get onto the podium. We would have liked to win, but you know, Ferrari's home race, so we'll let them have it. But yeah, now Garrett's here. Let's see if he can get on the top step.
I didn't start my outdoor walk, dang it.
Track work is done, but it's raining. Did you get wet?
It is. We got very wet for about 5 minutes, and then it kind of stopped, and now it's picking back up. So we had to hustle. We were trying not to get run over by a safety car doing laps.
Yeah, it was a Lamborghini Urus, right?
It was. It sounds amazing. And then they had the medical car out there. It also sounds amazing. Love that V8 power. So yeah, we managed. We came back in one piece, and we watched the track.
That pizza is huge, man.
Dude, this is $8. $8. Just saying.
So that's the first real Italian pizza for you, man.
Yeah, here we go. I've had better.
What?
Yeah.
Maybe we're in the wrong restaurant, man. What?
You're jaded by the American pizza.
Rate it now, 1 to 10. What do you say?
It's like a 7. A lot of watery tomato flavor, not really a lot of like.
So you're used to sugary American pizzas?
Perhaps the sugar is what it's missing. But yeah, it's very watery, very like, it tastes like watered down pizza. I don't know how to explain that.
Oh my God, oh my God. I'm shocked right now, I hope you like it more than Garrett.
Let's try it here.
So you don't got the pizza, you got the calzone. So it's a folded pizza.
Plenty of cheese and got good ham flavor to it.
You don't seem that excited.
Yeah. Out of all the our version of calzones I've had, this is actually probably about a 7.5.
You have the same rating for this calzone like for the paella.
This is better than the paella.
But not much, right?
Not much, but still delicious.
Now the new helmet. Day 2 in Vallelunga, you finished your second Rookie Challenge. But could you explain to us what is the Rookie Challenge?
Yeah, so the Rookie Challenge is almost like a time attack competition. So the goal is you pick a target lap time after your first session, and you try to run that lap time over and over and over. And the driver with the least standard deviation to that lap time wins over the next 2 sessions. So your first session is kind of a practice, the second and the third are actually like the 2 you're trying to achieve this 1 lap time. So if you pick a 43 flat, try to run as close to a 43 flat as you can, as many times as possible. That's the goal. Right, so pro drivers in the rookie season are allowed to run in the Rookie Challenge sessions, but we're not collecting points or podiums or anything or any trophies. So we're just here for track time and tuning on the car, which is a big help for me, especially every time I come to a new track for this season. So yeah, we're just basically working on the car every session.
What are the blowers for?
Okay, we put the blowers in front of the car to cool down the brakes on the engine after the stint, but we have no more wind from the drive. So the brakes, the engine don't overheat after the stint.
All good for the rest? Yeah. You're fine? Okay.
When I went from 4th to 3rd, it's like the engine went down to idle. and like the right rear like completely locked. It just wouldn't stop.
Yeah, so it was from second tight right-hander down to third, and as soon as I did it, the RPMs went to idle, and it felt like the right rear was locking up, and I tried to drag throttle thinking it was a wheel hop, and it's like I heard the RPM spike, but it's like there's no response, like no drive. That's what makes you think it's an axle, but I don't know.
Rodney, what's going through your mind right now?
I just want to make sure he's okay. I'm just trying to get him to ice his thumb right now. They're doing a good job getting the car back together.
Garrett, where did you hurt yourself?
I got my thumb caught in the back of the wheel. When I had the wheel cranked over right before I got to the wall, I had my finger right at the corner of the spoke, not like where I normally have it, because I normally don't run in the spoke, but I cranked it so far that my finger had fallen right beside it, and when the wheel jerked when I got to the wall, it snapped the wheel back. So yeah, typical wheel snap thumb thing. It hurts, but it's fine. It's not broke. So just got 2 Advil and an ice bag, and we're good.
What's shifting? Third. And straight to fourth.
Oh, they're back to fourth, yeah.
Hi everybody, my name is Mark Adriaanse and I'm the spotter of the 99 car for Motion.
So Dominic, practice 1 is over. You're sharing your car with Garrett. So there are 2 categories in the Euro NASCAR. There's the Open Series and the Pro Series. So you could not participate at the practice 1. What goes through your mind?
When you drive on the limit, then it's normally that you make a mistake. The time for the practice of the NASCAR Pro to the NASCAR Open is 50 minutes. It's not so big. Now come practice 2. The car is ready. We can go racing.
How bad was the crash?
It was not bad, some body parts, just front spoiler and the fender, and that's it. So the team fixed it now very fast and Garrett could go out in the next session.
Is it hurting too much or?
It's the way we wrapped it up.
So it's for you, your decision. He has taped it up for you. If you feel comfortable with it without driving this, it's your choice.
I used to be better without it.
Practice 2, you were out 1 lap. What happened?
Yeah, well, it was really just to see if anything's bent. As far as suspension goes, which it is, we weren't sure. We didn't know how hard it hit and how much the body absorbed. So I want to at least get a lap in and see if it was worth holding on to what we have. It's not. It's just wobbling back and forth. So yeah, it's kind of like trial and error, making sure what's broke and fixing it and go back out. So we'll see. We just got to get it right for tomorrow, but I'd rather have it right than rush. So just taking our time.
So Dominic, you were able to participate in the second practice now because the guys managed to fix the car in time. How did the car feel like?
Yeah, the setup after the crash, the feeling in the car was not good, and for tomorrow we switched the setup, and I hope that we can more push tomorrow.
It looks so funny.
Hello.
He stays in the right front tire. This is where he lives.
Good. During the race, I can fix the car, you know.
I'm gonna walk down.
Yeah, you need to be a little bit closer though. Yeah, there we go. Oh my God, that already looks amazing.
I'm Mark Urban, and I am the videographer for BS Plus competition.
Okay, just start walking, and you have your hand, you know, like you have your fingers like move, you know, you're like
And when you like feel in a tree, you go by and you're walking down the woods, you see leaves, you put your hand through it. You ever did that when you were a kid?
No, I hate doing that.
Well,
It's
you're
on my
gonna
hands.
do it today, okay?
Mark, what scene are we shooting right now?
We are shooting. You ever seen the movie Gladiator?
I didn't see it.
It's inspired by Gladiator. Okay? I don't want to ruin the movie for people, but he dies at the end. Okay, it looks too awkward. You look too awkward. Come back. You look too awkward. You look like you're like a robot. You're like, you just like, you know, like. Okay, I think we got it. I mean, I'm happy with it.
What's your feeling for tomorrow?
Yeah, we got basically half a lap afterwards after making just body repairs. We still had more work on it. So yeah, not all that confident. We basically go straight to qualifying. We're second car out. So blindly flying in, we'll see how we stack up. Yeah, we'll take it and see what we can do with it.
So guys, day 3 in Vallelunga, qualifying in race 1.
Let's go, Garrett!
Alex, yesterday there was a hole and now it looks like that. What do you say?
Yesterday we had half a car, now we have a brand new car. It looks amazing. Perfect. Good job.
How was the time?
He did a nice time, 42.5 with being first in the group. It will be enough for a middle pack, I think. So, well done. He did a 42.5, so...
Yeah, it's not good.
No, but it will get you in the middle pack. You're being first out of the track, so your track is green.
They might beat it yet.
Oh yeah, you're the fastest already. Now we have to wait and see where you end up.
Yeah.
Yeah, heck of a job, man.
No, it was not a good lap. We're inside the top 15, I think, with that lap. I don't think it'll be top 10. Just too many little mistakes, and I didn't have a good clean run yesterday for qualifying. So if it holds up with the next group, I'm pretty confident we're at the tail end of the top 10, but we'll just have to see. There's a lot of fast cars that have to go, so let's play it by ear.
How's your finger? So you hurt yourself yesterday. How are you feeling?
Yeah, finger's fine. I taped it up for one of the practice runs yesterday, and I couldn't move my thumb enough or move my hand enough, so I took it off, and now I'm actually better. Yep, no worries there. We're all good. Pain goes away.
You guys watching everything, right?
Watching all motorsports that's available to us. F3, F2, F1, IndyCar, NASCAR, Euro NASCAR, GT World Challenge. You name it, we're watching.
Just finished qualifying here at Vallelunga. Ended up P11.
Back at it again, Rodney. How many did you got?
First one of the day. Espresso milkshake's the best way to do it. They're drinkable. It's wonderful.
But I don't see a spoon.
No, actually, I'm getting so good at it. I attained my skills to where I just drink it now.
So I saw Rodney all the time with that. You got it also. How is it?
Gives me life, gives me energy. This best thing in the paddock since race cars were invented. But I mean, it's proper.
Ryan, I saw you yesterday also with that in your hand. The record of Rodney is 6. How many did you get?
Only 2.
Maybe today 6?
No, definitely not. I will keep it to 1 or 2.
So we have a challenger. You got 5 yesterday, what?
Yeah, it's still morning today. It's my second one. I'm planning on at least 7, 8, maybe 9. I don't know, but we'll see.
Rodney.
Yes, sir.
We got a challenger for you. I was telling Phil about your record of 6 iced coffees, and he told me today he wants to get 7 to 9. Can you break that?
I cannot break that record. I am extremely trying to pace myself because it does give you quite a bit of caffeine.
So first, you're playing video games also right now?
Yes.
Have you been already to the simulator?
Nope, not yet.
Then you have to go. Guys, now it's your turn to drive in the sim rigs. Who will be the fastest, do you think?
Let's see.
Guess we'll see.
Yeah.
First, now you have to show what you can.
No.
I'm done.
Garrett, 151. I think first got a 148, Kaiki got a 150, and Ryan and Phil got a 149.
I blew turn 1. I watched Phil drive in there, and I tried to break it to 200. Nope, not happening.
sailed it off in there, and that was it.
But in real life, you got the fastest one.
For now, sure.
Ferris, you were the fastest one.
Yes.
Ti piace Garrett Lowe? Sì. Ti piace la macchina?
So my job as a spotter means that I'm the second pair of eyes for the driver. I relay the information we get from the organization, from the race director, to the driver and warn him about red flags, yellow flags and something that happened on the track. Also, I give him extra information about the gaps in the car in the front or in the back. If someone is catching him up, and tell him in what kind of position he is on the track. So make sure that he has a little bit of help on the track during his race.
Hi, can I have the mic?
Can you sign your phone?
Yeah.
Where do you want it?
There.
Right there? All right. This is a new one, guys. Phone case.
Thank you.
These sunglasses are fire, man.
Oh, thank you. My wife picked them out for me.
Still pushing the cars to the grid and they're kicking people off. You're like, car's not even here yet.
You're such a pro. You're making videos while you're talking.
I don't really have to do much when I'm using the 360 camera. It kind of does all the work for you.
The support is real. How do you think he will do?
I think he's just going to go full send through the field, 11th to 1st, easy. Remember, you can always win the race in the first corner. Thanks, sir. Appreciate the help. Mind if I can get one of these bad boys? Can you make it out to Phil, please? Of course.
Yes. Yes. Can you show us?
So this is going to go up on my bedroom wall. I'm going to frame it. It's the greatest day of my life.
Garrett, you got all the BS Plus guys around you. How does the support feel like?
Feels great, obviously, to have everybody here. Awesome to have them support from the track walk all the way through both races. So glad to have everybody here, and hopefully we put on a good show.
Garrett Lowe just outside the top 10 and having to compete without any practice.
Also did an amazing job. Garrett Lowe, after zero practice, after crashing into the wall in free practice, he's an 8th inside of the top 10.
Our meta 7th, Garrett Lowe in 8th. Here comes Garrett Lowe to the 3rd step of the junior podium. The BS competition, BS Plus competition, promotion machine.
Great job.
Very lazy.
Thank you.
Oh,
Yeah,
really? Thank you.
Oh, nice. Look at our
Find a nice place in the car.
Garrett, it's your first trophy.
Yes. I'm sorry. For the record, I'm not one to like feel happy about class trophies. You know what I mean? Like, we didn't win overall, we didn't finish top 3 overall. I'm kind of like, yeah, like, you know. If we're on the real podium, I'll be smiling, I'll be happy. But until we're top 3 or winning, I'm like, yeah, sorry. It's just me. Everybody that knows me. That's the way I am. No, I'm not like super excited. Like, yay, we have a trophy, but yeah, P3 junior class. Yeah, man. I don't know.
But you started P11 and you got P8, so it was a great race for you, right?
Right, and that's part of it, though. It's like that's why I'm like not happy with it, right? It's like started 11th, just had to try to make up ground from there, and probably had about 8th place pace, honestly. So again, not super happy with the result, just because I feel like we could have done better. If I had qualified better, we'd have had a better shot. So I'm hard on myself, but I mean that's got to keep pushing.
Cheer, guys! The first trophy, and you are there. So I think you're the reason.
Yeah, of course, 100%. It's zebra boost, yeah?
We bring the good luck.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. So Rodney, after yesterday, would you believe that this is the outcome?
I knew he'd have a good outcome. I'm very surprised from going from in the wall to qualifying the 11th to finishing 8th to being on the podium. It's awesome. I'm very excited for him. He's not excited. When he gets on the big podium in first, then we'll see him doing cartwheels out here. But until then, he's just going to be he's got room for improvement in his eyes. But I'm excited for him. His mom and his grandparents are all happy for him. So it's a great job today for the whole team. Everybody did well.
Oh, Julian, you started in the 17th position. How was the race?
It was unbelievable. Now I'm P10. The start wasn't that good, but I could overtake the cars lap by lap. But at the end of the race, my tires getting very hot, and I couldn't overtake any more cars. But I think it was pretty good P10.
We're standing here again, and for the third time, twice top 10.
Awesome, yeah. He started on P11 and finished on 8 and the first podium in the junior trophy. So awesome day.
Vanessa had a crash, but the most important thing is Vanessa is okay. But the car is really, I hope I can start tomorrow. It's not looking good.
Oh, Vanessa, I'm so happy to see you and that you're fine. Could you tell us what happened?
So I had a really good run on the track. And then on the fastest part, the number 34 was coming and he touched me in the back. He touched me again in the front. So my car turned, I couldn't do anything. So I just crashed against the wall. I'm okay. I just have a bit of back pain, or neck pain, but my car is completely destroyed. So I don't know if it in total or in general it can be repaired again. Maybe not. For tomorrow, no way. And yeah, I'm very pissed off this guy. So I just saw the wall like...
Yeah, it comes at you fast.
And it's just some meters, so I was like... couldn't do anything.
Yeah. Get your hands off the wheel?
Yeah, I think in the last moment I put them off.
When you're in that situation, there's nothing you can do.
No.
You just hold the brake and hope for the best.
Garrett, do you know already your starting position for tomorrow?
Yes, we'll start 10th tomorrow for round 4. We'll be left lane. Not sure if that's great or not. We'll see. But we should have a decent starting spot. I think we made up some ground today in the first race that kind of helped us. So didn't have a great clean lap to really set one for round 4, but we'll get after it.
I think that's the fullest I've ever seen.
I don't think it's mixing right. It probably overcompensated for how many I was going to drink, and it's still too full. This is only my 5th.
I'll ask Phil how many he got.
Where's he at?
Phil, Rodney got 5 today. How many did you get?
I'm a sore loser. I got 3.
Oh.
Tomorrow, we're gonna have to one up. I'm gonna go for about 15.
I thought we had a challenge going on here.
It's too easy, it's too easy.
Easy one, easy win.
So Mark, you joined us this weekend as a professional motorsport videographer. To how many racetracks you have been?
I've been to 57 racetracks. I have a list on my phone, and Vallelunga is number 57.
You've never been here before?
I've never been here before. I've been to several tracks in Italy. I've been to Imola, I've been to Monza and Bassano, but I've never been to Vallelunga.
So which place would be Vallelunga for you, from 1 to 57?
I want to be nice, but it's going to be near the bottom, I think. Yeah, it's definitely not my favorite circuit. I'll say that.
Buongiorno from Italy. Day 4 in Vallelunga. Race 2. Let's go.
So you guys sitting here are representing 4 continents. Where are you guys from?
São Paulo, Brazil.
Carmel, California.
Alkmaar, Netherlands. Jakarta, Indonesia.
Kaike, what are you doing right now?
So we are just reviewing the race from yesterday, which Garrett raced, and then just looking into it and trying to find some opportunities and some stuff to work on for the next one.
I say Garrett, you say low. Garrett!
Low!
Garrett!
Low!
I just saw a fan with a tire in his hand. Do you know if the teams are giving away the old tires to fans?
Sometimes they'll give them away. Anytime there's a wreck, the fans will come by the pits because they'll lay the parts outside. It's not uncommon to see fans rolling tires around the track.
Let me sum up your season so far. You come as a rookie, as a hybrid racer, sim racer, real world racer. You're a NASCAR rookie in pro, not even racing in open. 3 consecutive top 10s. How happy are you?
Pretty happy. I feel like yesterday I was a little disappointed in the result, but it's because we had a mistake in practice on Friday that cost us a lot of track time and hurt our qualifying effort, so hurt our start, ultimately hurt our race. So yeah, still not perfectly pleased, as I never am, but yeah, we've had a pretty good success so far. 3 top 10s. We'll hopefully go for 4 for 4.
Here we go, 2x2 formation, drivers in their lanes. Through the wheel and start zone we go. We are racing in the NASCAR Euro Series. It's Vittorio Garelli, though, that leads the way. He is in the exact position he'd have wanted. He's already got a car length or 2 over Liam Hazelman's. Garrett Lowe, meanwhile, going around the outside of that 55. Fabrizio Armetta, the 69 of Sebastian Blakemolen, runs it deep into turn 8, just about stays on something like tarmac and will rejoin the race, but a long way down the field. Armetta and Lowe continue to fight it out on the fringes of the top 10. I believe that will now be for 8th position.
Battles are really intense. Here we have Garrett Lowe and Fabrizio Armetta. We see this battle going on now for the whole race long. So Armetta still in front of the 99 car.
Hey, well done, cars, one piece. Solid points again. Yeah, it's a bummer, I know.
Yeah, you got a good clean start, so that was good. We didn't go back any. And there was a great points day, 9th. That's 4 top 10s. So overall, it's a great day considering where the car was after practice and where we are today. So great 2 days.
All right, ready? I don't know. I don't like where I'm standing. What if you film me from here? Yeah. Is it too much shadow? Is that... Wrapped up here at the... I didn't say wrapped up. That's a wrap on Vallelunga. Not a great day in my opinion. Just kind of felt like we struggled race pace. Still finished P9. I had a pretty good start actually. First lap, made a couple good moves. It got me up to about 8th and then lost one more at the end of the first lap. So yeah, I don't know. Feeling iffy on that one. Feel like I left a little bit on the table. Feel like I wasn't getting everything out of it that we had this weekend. Obviously, didn't qualify great, so kind of set us back. But all in all, with the wreck on Friday and putting everything back together and having to go out first for qualifying, I'll take it. Decent points. We just gotta patch up a few things, figure it out, and get better as a group and go forward.
This is bacon along right here. Oh, hey, that's delicious. Traditional way of eating as far as the movies go. Very good. Very good.
Rodney, what would you rate the carbonara?
This is a good solid 9.2. This is really good creamy white sauce. It's not really even white. It's more from the center of the egg, from the yolk, which I've never heard of before, and it's delicious. And this bacon on top is like, to relate it back to the home folks, it's kind of like almost close to fatback, and it's got a really good kick to it. It's good.
This is not gonna. I gotta cut it. I gotta cut it. I'm gonna be a poor Italian today.
No, you cannot cut the pasta. No, you cannot cut.
You can't cut pasta in Italy.
You're going to be arrested, I'm sure.
I'm bad at eating pasta in the first place. This just makes it worse. That's pretty good. That's a 9. That's pretty good. I like that. If I can't cut it, it's a 4, but...
This is crazy.
It's good, but it ain't got anything on Mama's spaghetti, I'll tell you that.
Do I have to tell you something? This guy here, he cut his spaghetti. What do you say?
I hate these things. You go to hell.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you.
Wow. That's a lot of espresso. The top part, it's got like an espresso on it. There's different type of sauce, but the filling itself is out of this world. It's delicious.
You look not convinced.
No. Based off that reaction, I'm not trying it. Sorry.
I kind of knew that. More for me.
We gotta have a rating.
As far as desserts in Europe so far, this is the top notch. This is a solid 10. This is the best dessert so far.
I'll stick with Oreos.
Keep in mind, our chefs, Suzanne and Nick. Nick's tiramisu was right up here with it, so his was like a 9.99. So homemade was pretty good too.
Who are Suzanne and Nick?
Suzanne and Nick are our chefs in the hospitality tent, and they cook and prepare all our meals throughout the day, starting with breakfast for all the crews, lunch for all our sponsors, and also our dinner at night. And then, of course, the last night, we pack up and we all go out to a big dinner. But they keep us fed the whole time, snacks, and of course, mostly important, they keep me with my espresso milkshakes.
How did you like the food?
Perfect. Perfecto. Alex, roll the outro. Alex, do we have an outro? Can that be in the video? Can you put that in? So that's all from Beluga for episode 2 of Uncharted. We're here at dinner with the whole team and all of the BS Plus crew. We had some great food this trip, and overall, great weekend, great experience. Another one off the list. 5 more to go, and we'll see you in Vinray. No, it's Brands Hatch.
So we've been in Charlotte all week long. It's incredible. The whole industry has really been super supportive for NASCAR 25, and we've had 8 or 9 drivers trying the game, and you know, to us, it's just another step in the process of making a great game, right? You want to get their feedback, you want to implement some of the things that they give you pointers on. So enjoy some of the clips of these guys playing the game and just kind of what we went through this week. It's really exciting.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. We just got done playing NASCAR 25. I would say it's probably the most realistic Xbox PS5 game that I've played. I grew up playing all the old games through my childhood, and it was pretty awesome to be able to kind of get on again, and looking forward to when it comes out.
I mean, the physics, I used to play a lot of games, and NASCAR games, and the physics on this game is above and beyond all of them. So initial thoughts are really good.
I was blown away by how realistic the game was, and just going through the couple tracks that I ran, like seeing how true the repave was at Iowa, and the new asphalt lines up with what we have in real life. The grip levels were accurate, impressive.
It's really cool, like seeing myself in a video game. That means a lot for me, because like I never imagined like saw me in a video game, and it made me feel like the first time when I jumped in a car, it was the same feeling.
The first time seeing myself was, I mean, you dream about those moments, right? I mean, growing up and playing video games, like I said, 2K or anybody, and playing as LeBron James or doing something, right? You want to take your my player to the top of the, and have the overall, the 99 overall, you know? So now I get to do that for myself. I'm gonna be on that game 24/7.
For the first time ever, there's a whole new level of authenticity to the NASCAR game with the actual track scans and the car physics, which is going to bring fans closer to the sport.
You can definitely tell that iRacing had a significant impact on this game, from the driving characteristics to the audio, the visuals. You can tell the footprint that iRacing had on this platform, and it's a great thing because it just shows how next level video games can be.
iRacing is huge, so just the opportunity for it to go to a game console is also just a great opportunity for people that love racing or just trying to do it for fun and maybe trying to get into it.
I think the first game that I probably played was NASCAR 05. Got that game, actually had it on PSP at the time, and then played it on console as well, so that's really how I got started, and my friends said that I took the game way too seriously.
As a kid growing up, I was a big time NASCAR video gamer and would love getting to explore all the different tracks and see what they're about, and going to Pocono and realizing it's a triangle, and how Loudon, New Hampshire is really flat, and just seeing all the variety of different racetracks.
This game, from the driver's perspective, is is what it needs to be. I mean, myself in my own career, there's just that energy level when you walk into the racetrack and you hear the engines and practice starts. There's just that feel that you get when you get in your race suit, you hop in the truck.
I mean, I'll never forget it. My first ever time at Daytona, when I rolled into the garage and they put my car on 4 jack stands and they raise up the hood, and all you hear is the guns going on the tires, the guys working on the car, the spotter crew chief talking. Like, it took me away because it felt like I've been in that situation before, and it actually was like I'm actually living this moment that I played in the game a million of times. So now to be in this game even more elevated, it's crazy. It's crazy. It's definitely huge.
I can't thank these drivers enough. This week has been super special for all of us to come down here and shoot this content and get their feedback. We've had a long relationship with a lot of these guys, and I'm so excited. Even ones we've just met this trip, the passion that they have and the excitement that they have to get this game out and in the market is super exciting. In case you haven't heard, October 14th, that's our launch date. So we're going to open pre-orders and we're going to get you that gameplay trailer that you guys are all begging for about a month before. So stay tuned. We got a lot more information coming on the game for NASCAR 25.
Visit NASCAR25.com for more information on the game, and make sure you follow us on social media at NASCAR25 Game.
Tonight on Countdown to Green, we look back at Bobby Z's tricky triangle triumph. We break down the 2025 playoff grid. And we take a look at how you're racing at home and the Logitech Show Us Your Rig segment. All of that and more coming up on Countdown to Green.
Hello and welcome to the eNASCAR Coca-Cola iRacing series. This is Countdown to Green, and you saw the car out the front of the show. You saw the playoff brackets there. It is playoff time, and we are getting ready for it. It is feeling great. I'm your host, Camille Salazar. How do we? Joining me as always, we have Alan Cavana, we have Ryan Vargas. How you two doing? Are you feeling that playoff energy?
You could feel the tension. You could barely slice it with a knife, but it is a playoff time. I'm very excited, Alan. I don't know what we're going to see tonight.
I love it. The road to $100,000 starts tonight. 10 playoff drivers are going for that. But let's not forget, the rest of the field, they're racing to stay in the series. Every single position matters over the next few races. I love this format. It starts tonight.
I know we thought the season was a tense one, but it's just going to get tenser in here.
Oh, yeah.
But before we get into playoffs, you know what we got to do? We got to look back at how the previous race went in Pocono, you guys.
Oh, yeah, and Pocono Raceway, as it always does, brought the action. We had tons of 3 and 4 wide race gun restarts. Look at this. Everybody's fanning all the way out. Lots of chaos, lots of beating and banging, which you would think we're at a short track, Alan, but no, we're at Pocono, and as I mentioned previously, this race always seems to bring some sort of chaos, and we saw plenty of it here.
Yeah, there was patience early, but as this race went on, remember, this was the last race of the regular season, trying to get in, trying to solidify your spot. The longer this race went on, the more aggressive the moves got, the more short track like it seemed. Oh, yeah. You can see a little contact there. You can see, I mean, just going in, that looked like the tunnel turn. Oh, gets a little out of shape there. All right, that might have been a racing incident there in that one. But then look, more and more we saw a little too much aggression in some of these moves. Yeah, right here, Vicente Salas there. Wrong spot, wrong time. Getting more aggressive as the race went on. That's why I love this race.
Yeah, and as we saw right here, just a lot of contenders getting taken out in the middle of this. Michael Cozy Jr., one of those strong guys all season long. Garrett Lowe, getting just absolutely beat up through the corner here. Lots of squeezing. Oh, man, just all sorts of craziness happening. But it came down to some strategy. Bobby Z kind of pulls a late decision there to stay out. decides to take that track position, and well, that's all she wrote here. You see a couple late incidents here. That was a pretty realistic impact. I said that in the pre-race show. That was a pretty realistic impact. So
well, look at when you have track position, Ryan, you get this, right? Bobby Z wasn't in that big wreck 5 wide in the first corner, and he ends up getting the checkered flag right before the playoffs start. So important for him.
Yeah, Bobby Z gets his 2nd win of the season. And right there, you take a look at our playoff grid entering this playoffs. Steven Wilson at the top with a 25-point advantage over Tucker Minter, Vicente Salas in 3rd. Bobby Z with those 2 wins sits in the 4th spot. But I'm going to direct my attention to the bottom half right there. Those last 4, Parker White, Casey Kerwin, Jordy Lopez, Dylan Duval. Those guys, they are 40 points out, and they only have 3 races to make their names and make their presence here. I'm all about points racing, but we got to get some wins here.
Yeah, hey, wins the way to get it, and we know at least one driver will get in on points, so you also have to be consistent. But what a field we have there. Don't forget about the team standings as well. It keeps going back and forth between Spire Motorsports and Channel 199 Sim Racing. Remember, there could be a 70-point swing in any one race, so ERA, Bobby Z winning races, they could still do something. But I love the battle we've had all season between Spire, Channel 199. Money, pride, still on the line on the team standings as well.
Yeah, and we're going to take a look here coming up here in a second. Regulation.
Ooh,
this is big, Alan. This is the race within a race. Right here, you see Garrett Lowe. He is 7 points above the relegation line, above Blaze Crawford. Look, this is where the money's made here, just to stay in the series, Alan.
Yeah, look, everyone on the right side of the screen, as it stands, would not be in the series next year. At least you have to requalify, right? You're out. You have to go back to the bottom. There are huge names on that. Graham Boland, Malik Ray, Matt Busa, Falkingham, Ottinger, Nick Ottinger, way on the bottom, Mullis Bias. I mean, these are big veteran names that are fighting just to stay in the series. That's how tough this Coke series has become, Camille. I mean, if you're winning, you have done something so great.
Yeah, it's getting tough, and it's interesting that it got really tough at the end of the season too as we come to the playoffs. So, looking back at Pocono, like you said, Bobby Z kind of needed that win right there. Yes. But Ryan, what are your other thoughts coming out of that race?
Well, my biggest thoughts are track position, track position, track position. It's underlined 3 times on my sticky note here. That's how important that is. Bobby Z made that strategy call, put himself at the front of the field, and that's what it's going to take, right? You have to qualify good, and if you can't qualify good, well, you got to get creative and find your way to the front, or else you're going to find yourself in all the middle of that chaos that we saw there, Alan.
Yeah, and look, for Bobby Z, we know he is so good at getting to that final race, getting to the NASCAR Hall, being one of the contenders for the title. But this year, I wanted to see something out of him. His previous win was Talladega. That can be a little bit of wild card. We know he's good at road courses. There's no road courses in the playoff. Winning on this oval in Pocono told me he's a real contender for this championship. Because if you're going to do it, you probably have to win on an oval. I wanted to see Bobby Z do that before the season, before the playoffs started. We saw that. That tells me he's a real contender for that title in a few weeks.
Well, it's a triangle, but I'll give you that.
A triangle. Okay. Yeah. We're going to debate. We're going to debate who we think we're going to make the top 4 going in to the championships later on in the show. But let's take a break from this series because we have tonight's announcer, James Pike, to talk more about the eNASCAR College Series, the eNASCAR College iRacing Series. That's changing up the format, James.
Yeah, big changes coming to the format for the 2025-26 season. Instead of individual races, we now have tournaments. We all know what basketball does in March in college and how many games and the kind of big field that you get. That's what the eNASCAR College iRacing Series is going for this year. So brand new format, 120 people qualify in the beginning. We spread it out across 2 weeks, and at the end, we end up with one big race for each tournament, 25 trucks, and the top finishers in that race end up with some scholarship money. We have 6 tournaments full of races that will take part in the 25-26 schedule. We start off at Charlotte. We'll go to Daytona and Iowa in the fall, and then in the spring we'll be at Michigan, where we are on the Coke Series tonight. Martinsville makes an appearance for the College Series for the first time in history. We'll close things out at Homestead, Miami in April of 2026. So 6 opportunities to jump in and 6 opportunities to participate in these brand new tournaments that should bring a very different feel. Now, we've also revamped some of the schemes you might might have noticed last year that we went with a sort of standardized paint scheme. There have been a few tweaks coming up. So this is a preview of what you're going to see. Work in progress, maybe a few tweaks here and there between now and the beginning of our Queen City Crown, our first tournament for the College Series, but a good look at all the colors, all the schools, all the pageantry you'll see in the College Series this year. The time attack for our first tournament, the Queen City Crown, is going to open up on August 26th. It'll run through September 4th, and then we get to the big show in a little bit later into the month, and we have a lot of fun at Charlotte, one of the best tracks on the calendar. Week 1 of racing, September 17th, and Week 2 championship week for the tournament, September 24th, 2025. And of course, as always, you can see those broadcasts on eNASCAR.com/live.
Oh man, I cannot wait for the College Series races. I had the pleasure of watching and also commentating some of those races, and man, hearing that we're going back to Charlotte with the trucks, as Pike said, one of the best tracks on the circuit for that car and track combo. Alan, I'm gonna be tuning in. I don't know about you.
And let's not forget some of our pros are college students, and they go down there and get maybe a little scholarship money. Not that I think that's ultimately fair. Look, Steven Wilson's going to whip some butt if he was in the college season again, but I think he got that diploma. Everybody is happy that he graduated out, and it won't be again, but it just shows you how tough and good the competition is.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how some of these drivers adjust to the shakeups going into the college season. So you want to make sure to check that out. If you want to get involved, you've got to tune in for that as well. But now we're going to actually see the community in another light, because we're going to check out their rigs. This is Logitech Show Us Your Rigs, where we get to see how you're racing at home. This first one is from Aaron. This is a pretty nice desk setup.
Yeah, I love it. Right there on the desk, just a small monitor. You don't need anything big, but you got the two monitors next to each other. I love the lighting. I love the wheel. Good stuff. There's a few too many cables for me, but look, one step at a time. Few tweaks there, and it's perfect.
Our next one is from Philippi. Ooh, is that a Logitech rig I'll see right there?
Yeah, that's a Logitech powered all you need rig right there. Some single monitor action. Nice and clean, nice and simple. I love this, right? This almost has like a dorm room feel, right? So this is a perfect setup, not too different from my personal setup. So nice setup here, Philippi.
I think there's a cup holder there too.
Yeah, I like it.
Or that can's balancing very well. I don't know which one it is. Our next one's from Matt, and Matt has a very nice, clean, I'm thinking this is a living room setup, Alan.
I love it. Love it set up. I love respect the wood, right? The wood paneling and everything that you got going there. Nice wood floors. The monitors, though, those monitors are key. Looks like an old Kyle Busch, Elliott Sadler scheme, M&Ms. I don't know. It's hard to tell. But look, I don't see any cords. I just see a very comfy seat. I see a nice corner spot. That's got to be fun to race in.
And even an inspirational quote on the wall for Matt there. This next one is from Patrick, going with the double monitors.
Yeah, I like it. The double stack monitors. Normally you see them side by side. So very nice setup here. A lot more Logitech power here. Good to see. Really, one thing I noticed here, it's nice and comfy with the seat. It's a nice squishy seat there, right? See all that padding. I could probably find myself taking a nap in that rig if I was a little too not careful.
I know, you got to be careful how comfy you make these rigs at home, because you may take a nap. But this one is from Josh, and I don't think Josh is taking any naps here because it looks like it's straight business.
Look, we've seen 6 monitors, 4 monitors. How about no monitors? This is a VR setup. Either it's around Christmas or they celebrate Christmas all year round. Either one, I both endorse. And that is tucked away in the corner. Let me tell you, there is some good framing going on there. That's all you need. You just need some goggles.
You just need some goggles, and here, Steve just needs the monitors. This is a high-tech setup, Brian.
Yeah, I like that. We got the quadruple monitors. There's the 4th one at the top there, but I like the 3-screen curved right there. It looks really good. And may I say, respect for the wood rig. I love me a good old-fashioned wood rig built in like that. Got the mic hanging over the back too, over the shoulder. That's a awesome setup. I love that. That is incredible.
Champagne ready to pop too.
Yeah, and Steve's feeling the wind as well. You see those fans mounted at the bottom there? This next one is from Traeger hippie. Again, with the monitors, really sweet, really clean, Alan.
Oh yeah, nice. Like the curve on them. I mean, they're almost like 180 kind of all the way around.
Beautiful.
Super. Where I don't see one cord. If I do, I mean, come on. That is just beautiful, and it's nicely set up in what has to be a really nice living room, and it sits right in there. Great job.
And our last one comes from, wait a second,
Oh.
Raja,
Our
playing
boy.
as Raja. What is happening here?
I know. Check that out. We're kicking a nice little look there at NASCAR 25. Work in progress, obviously. Here we saw a lot of teaser photos get released today. Some on-track content. But remember, this game comes out October 14th. So stay tuned for more content getting rolled out as the weeks progress, getting closer to that release date.
I know
Can't
we're in
wait for
summer,
that.
but October's like right there.
I
Be
know.
sure to send us your rigs because we like to see them. Use the hashtag eNASCAR tagging, eNASCARGG, as well as at iRacing on all the social medias because we just want to see how you race at home. Make us jealous. Make us jealous of your race. Now, you two, we are in playoffs, so it's only right that we kind of get a feeler for maybe how Justin Melillo's power rankings is going. So we have Justin Melillo himself in the office, working very hard. Hello, Justin.
What's going on, everybody?
Now,
I'm
Justin, you know, before you've come on the show, you've been muted because we've been too excited to get into your rankings. But now you got to tell us, how's it going when we're getting into playoffs? What does your rankings look like?
Second race in a row, I've done the mute thing wrong. I can't believe that. But yeah, I mean, pretty much mostly it's the same thing. Steven Wilson at the top, 6 wins on the year. Bobby Zelensky with that win at Pocono jumps up to second. It was pretty straightforward for the top 2. After that, it gets kind of, a little bit messy, but it's mostly all playoff guys. If you look at this 9 of the top 10, you got Casey Kerwin moving up some spots into 5th. Dylan Duval moving up to 7th. He wasn't in the top 10. Now he is. Jordy Lopez was up in the top 5. Now he's down in 8th after just an absolutely rough week 2 weeks ago with Pocono. And then you've also got Christopher Hill moving up into the 10th spot. As far as the teams are concerned, I did want to give props to Channel 199 Sim Racing. There are 10 drivers in the playoffs, and only one team has both of their drivers in, and that's Channel 199. So that's why they moved to the top of the standings. They're also leading the team standings by 2 points. It's very close between them and Spire Motorsports, of course. Spire being carried by Steven, and then for the rest of them, ERA Esports, of course, with Bobby winning. So, yeah, it's more of the same that we've had for the majority of the season. It's kind of finally getting fleshed out. We gotta see if anybody's gonna knock Steven Wilson off of his high horse.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Justin, for that. It's always nice checking in with your power rankings, and then we argue with them after the show. But we promise we'll let you know what we argue, and we won't do it behind your back. All right. Now we are going into Michigan for our first track of the playoffs. So, Ryan, you got to take us through.
Yes, we are heading to Michigan International Speedway, one of the most beautiful tracks on the circuit. This track is 2 miles long, or 3.22 kilometers for those outside of the U.S. Banking in the turns is 18 degrees, while the front is still a very steep 12 degrees, while the back is a pretty flat 5 degrees. This track opened in 1968, and last year's winner was a first-time winner in Briar LaPrade, his first and only win in the eNASCAR Coca-Cola iRacing series.
All right. Well, Alan, with that, he said Brian LaPrade won last year, first-time winner. I feel like that may be a trend.
Yeah, well, of course it is. But this is a historic track for NASCAR, for eNASCAR as well. In 9 of the 15 races, the winner led the most laps, but only 3 of those winners came from the pole position. So, of course, qualifying matters. But getting out front, getting that clean air, controlling the race is what matters in more than half these things. Michigan was the final win of the year for 12 of the 15 winners. And the last driver to win after their Michigan win was Ryan Luzo way back in 2018. So yes, winning tonight is good. It doesn't always bode well if you want that championship though, so think about that. 3 of the 7 winners were not part of the playoffs. That includes Breyer LaPrade last year. So what we're saying is this has been a playoff track in the playoff era. The winner of this race has not been in the playoffs. You have to think about that. Yeah, the top 10 are probably going to be the best in the playoffs, but we get a winner sometimes outside of that group. Only 2 drivers have multiple wins at Michigan. One of them still active. He's racing tonight. Garrett Lowe, 2019 and in 2023. Won here at Michigan, the big 2-mile track, but not a lot of repeat winners. So we'll see what happens tonight if a former winner can do it. Now, out of our 10 playoff drivers, only one of them has ever got a checkered flag at Michigan, and that was Casey Kerwin back in 2020. Not even the year he won the championship. He won before then, but that just shows how wide open tonight's field is. Can Casey Kerwin do it again? We'll just have to see.
Oh man, I am very interested to see how this continues moving forward. I mean, it's going to be an interesting start to the playoffs, right? Michigan always proves to be a very chaotic race. And Camille, look, I'm interested to see how this shakes up our brackets.
Yeah, we're gonna have to see how it shakes up our brackets as well, because then it also kind of gives us a glimpse into our picks maybe for the next few races, which I know I'm watching you. Maybe not you, Alan, but definitely Ryan, because maybe I can catch up. All right, well, Ryan, let's talk about who you think is gonna make the championship 4.
Yeah, so out of the 12 drivers in the playoffs this year, I have Zach Novak, Steven Wilson, Vicente Salas, and Tucker Minter. And this is a hot take.
Wow.
But my champion is Tucker Minter. Tucker was a very fast driver in last year's Homestead race. He was one of those guys on the defense, and it kind of bit him there late. But with that speed he's had, he's been one of the few drivers that can challenge Steven Wilson throughout the season. I could absolutely see Tucker Minter stealing this championship away from Steven Wilson's grip that he's had on it all season long.
Interesting. Now, does Tucker win the next few races or just Homestead?
I have him listed as making the championship 4 on points. So I do not have him winning any of these upcoming races.
Interesting bracket, but you always like to shake it up. Alan, what about you?
Well, being someone who's really good at these picks, here's my 4. Casey Kerwin, former champ. Steven Wilson, former champ. Vicente Salas and Bobby Zielinski looking for his first title as well. That's my final 4. The way I have it tonight, Casey Kerwin does pretty good and vaults himself into the final. Here's what I think. I think Steven Wilson might win the next 2 races. And then Vicente Salas and Bobby Z, they've been so consistent lately. They've been hot late in the season. They both get in on points. They make up the final 4. And then it's the winner who's winning everything all the time, leading the lap, strategy, speed, what have you. Steven Wilson gets another title, gets it done.
So you're banking on Minter just having an abysmal next 2 weeks, next 3 weeks, really.
Look, he's good. I'm sorry, Willie B. I'm sorry, Willie B.
All right, well, let's get into who I'm looking at for my championship 4. I have Parker White, I have Steven Wilson, and Vicente Salas, as well as Tucker Minter. So there's a little bit of a trend that we're seeing here between all of our picks. But of course, we get to shake it up. I really do think, looking at our race that we have ahead tonight, Parker White may surprise a few people considering previous Michigan races. So we're going to have to see how that bodes well. And of course, Steven Wilson, he's just been on fire the whole season. And I don't think that's going to change that much. So now looking at Michigan, I know I teased mine a little bit, but Ryan, who's your pick?
Well, as we see at the bottom of the screen from Pocono, I had Casey Kerwin. Alan, a small gain on me, as always. You always go with the easy pick. But this week, I am going with my own idea of an easy pick. Zach Novak. He's going to be the one who gets it done tonight. He's going to get the win, and he's going to vault himself into the championship 4. I have him making that race because he's been so fast all season long, and not only that, but he's been very consistent since we've had this refresh and at Michigan. So Novak's my guy. He's going to put himself in the championship 4 tonight.
Yeah, Ryan, you were smart to pick Casey Kerwin in Pocono. You just picked him at the wrong time. Casey Kerwin does it tonight in Michigan and gets it done again. Gets the checkered flag at that big 2-mile track and vaults himself right to the NASCAR Hall of Fame for the big money. He's winning tonight, Camille.
Well, that's if something really bad happens on the track with, of course, I'm choosing Parker White because, I mean, look at last year. He was doing really well. And I think he could pull it off again this year and surprise all of you. He's been a bit more consistent than other drivers as well. So I'm going with Parker White. We're going to see how it goes tonight with our picks, of course, as we get into our first race of the playoffs. But before we do that, we got to check in. Who's our pole sitter?
Ooh, Tucker Minter. We're hearing it in our ear.
Tucker
I feel
Minter.
bad now. I love
My
Tucker.
champ. My champ.
Come on, Tucker.
But remember the trends. Remember the trends. Our pole
Here's the
sitter.
deal.
Our pole sitter never really gets that win. So we're going to have to see how it goes. But from all of us here, oh, yes, we do have our announcer. We have James, of course.
Playoff Pike.
Playoff Pike. I love that. Mr. Pike, we got to find out who is your championship for?
Oh, alliteration is, I guess, our best friend here, right? You know, best way to go. I think Steven Wilson, because if he's driving the very best he has in his career, as he told us on the post-race show after Indianapolis, that's a force to be reckoned with and someone who can't be overlooked. I like the idea of Tucker Minter winning his way in. I have a feeling if Tucker makes the championship four, it's going to be via a win. I like him to get a win more than he won points. If there's a guy I like on points, Zach Novak, because he's been so consistent all year long. This has been his best year in the last 3 seasons and his best year in the next-gen car. And then Bobby Z, because Bobby Z always makes the championship four, right?
Yeah.
But Steven Wilson is also very, very mad about how his final lap at Homestead planned out last year.
Yeah.
He is very, very motivated. It's very difficult right now to go with anybody other than Steven Wilson as a champion, because a fast driver and a motivated driver is a driver that the rest of this field in the Coke Series has to keep their eye on. Steven Wilson, I think, if I'm predicting, will be the one lifting the Dale Earnhardt Jr. Cup at Homestead.
Oh man, we're putting Bueno on the spot.
All right, yeah.
All right, guys.
Kenneth. Yeah, who's your champ for?
All right, so it's hard to argue against Steven Wilson. He's won 6 races this season. He has been oh so dominant. I don't see him falling off anytime soon. So NASCAR Hall of Fame will see the Spire Motorsports number 77 and Steven Wilson in the championship 4. I'm going to say that Parker White gets in. Remember, last year he was 3/1000ths of a second short of winning this race to Briar LaPrade. So he knows how to put himself up front when the pressure is hot. I'd say Parker White goes second in the championship 4. I like Zach Novak. I think in many situations he's been so consistent. He's been so good. And sometimes it doesn't even need a win. You just need to be good enough. You need to be finishing well, taking those mediocre races and making them better than that. So I think Zach Novak would do it. And hot take, I don't think Bobby Z is going to make the Final 4 this year. I don't think he's making the championship 4. I'm going to go with, I'm going to say that Casey Kerwin also gets it. Casey Kerwin is going to find his way in. So it's going to be previous champions. They've been so good. I think they're going to line up the championship 4 this year in Charlotte, North Carolina later on this season.
It is
no
just
bueno, Bobby Z. No
it
bueno.
is so crazy. No bueno. No bueno. It's just so crazy that you and James, Kenneth and James, just don't think Vicente Salas is going to make it. Although he led Phoenix for 70 laps. I don't. Okay, we'll talk about it when we get there.
I'm with you, Camille. I'm with you.
we'll take it from there because we do have Michigan to look after right after this break here. Thank you so much for watching Countdown to Green with the 3 of us here. It's playoffs, baby. Get a snack, then grab a seat, and stay tuned for Kenneth and James right after this break with the race.
Every time you sit behind the wheel, you buckle up for the unexpected. You get ready to take on the competition and brace yourself for the chaos, the speed, the weather, the unknown. But above all, when strapping in, you put trust in yourself, your intuition, making your guide to win. your drive to win.
He's a winner in this.
And nothing is going to stop you from winning.
Welcome to the Proving Ground. Welcome to Metal Crunching. It's all or nothing for 26 weeks of the year. Welcome to the NASCAR Xfinity Series, only on the CW.
Shine with the blow. This is my time with it though. This is my time to be way at the top. Me and my guys gon' pay out the block. I don't look like ball. Time's right, and I know the scenes walking in the limelight. Promise you don't wanna watch like a sci-fi. My guys are high rises, high tide. My crown if you come to my side. I pledge allegiance for lifetime. My squad connected like Wi-Fi. We grind and you see the highlights. This my life. It ain't a game now. Me and you, we ain't the same now. Lions coming out to play now. Opposition out the way now. Out of the way. You wasn't invited. Say you come to play. I dare you to try it. You don't wanna try me. Then step up to my team. Yeah, out of the way. Yeah, yeah. Out of the way. Yeah, yeah. Out of the way.
The road to $500,000 rolls through the Irish Hills of Michigan as 10 drivers begin their quest for the Dale Earnhardt Jr. Cup. Good evening, race fans, and welcome to round 15 of the 2025 eNASCAR Coca-Cola iRacing Series and round 1 of the playoffs, live from the virtual Michigan International Speedway in Brooklyn, Michigan. So happy that you're with us this evening. James Pike alongside Kenneth Bueno and KB. We are at the business end of the Coke Series season. The playoffs begin tonight. And for a lot of these drivers, they all want to get to victory lane, but it might also be about avoiding calamity on track and giving yourself an easier road to Homestead, Miami.
A lot of chaos can transpire, James, here in the Irish Hills of Michigan. But a lot of drivers say that the regular season is one season, the playoffs is another season. So it's a chance for these 10 drivers, former champions and all, drivers trying to get a first ever championship, to go in it with a reset mentality and try and put themselves above. No longer does it count all the other races we've had this season. You've been the 10 best. Now you've got to step up to the challenge and try to go for the cup later on this season. And it starts tonight.
The only thing that matters are the playoff points that they banked in the regular season for these next 4 races. Michigan, Texas, and Phoenix make up this initial round of the playoffs. The top 4 in points or winners, depending on how it plays out, will make their way to the in-person finale, virtually race at Homestead, Miami, but they'll compete live in front of an audience at the NASCAR Hall of Fame in Uptown Charlotte, North Carolina on October 7th. So much on the line for these drivers, and everybody that's part of those 10, they want a shot at the Dale Earnhardt Jr. Cup. If you are big into NASCAR Fan Rewards, we hope that a lot of you are, you can use the code on your screen to earn 50 fan points towards rewards, tickets to NASCAR Xfinity or Craftsman Truck Series races, merchandise, and more. That code tonight is Michigan Fly PD. And if you're not a member, you can scan the code on the right-hand portion of your screen or visit NASCAR.com/fan rewards to join now. So much excitement here and so much nervousness, I think, KB, for these drivers as we get set to take off and start the playoffs and get ready to roll off into our starting grid, which sees playoff driver Tucker Minter take the pole for William Byron Esports alongside Apex Racing's Christopher Hill. Eddie Kerner for 6 Karma will roll off alongside eRacers Tyler Gary. In the third row, Dylan Duvall for Channel 199 Sim Racing will be joined alongside Casey Pioneers' Casey Kerwin.
Back in row number 4, pair of rookies. Latar Esports' Connor Euroshak leading the Rookie of the Year standings alongside Team Dylan Esports' Blaze Crawford, his number 3 car, outside in P8. Steven Wilson in his 4th career playoff appearance, looking for his 2nd ever title. The Spire Motorsports number 77 inside of row 5 tonight, with the Hayek Motorsports number 50 rookie driver Quentin Warman wraps up the rest of the top 10. Cody Baez, very, very legendary and experienced Coke Series driver for Apex Racing. He'll line up the inside of row 6. And Junior Motorsports' Briar LaPrade looking to capture the magic he did exactly 1 year ago here, trying to go for his 2nd career Michigan win.
Femi Olad is going to try and help Steven Wilson go together and combine to get that team title for Spire Motorsports. He starts inside of row 7 alongside Casey Kerwin's teammate for the Kansas City Pioneers, Graham Boland. 6 Karma's Daniel Falkenkamp and Kevin Herman Inks, Jimmy Mullis are on row 8. Row 9 finds us looking at Vegas Inferno's Malik Ray and Atlassian Williams Sim Racing Parker White looking for back-to-back Coke Series titles.
And lots of playoff drivers here in this sector of the grid. But we start with Kevin Harvick Incorporated's Matt Busa in his 11th Michigan start tonight, with BS Plus Competition's Jordi Lopez in his 2nd ever playoff appearance. He'll be on the outside in P20. Team Dylan Esports has Taylor Hurst, his number 33, inside of row 11. Latar Esports has the other half of their team, Kwame Scott. His number 36 will be outside in P22. Final row in these group of drivers until the top 24. That's the FGRXL eRacing number 12 of Ryan Luza and the ERA Esports number 22 of Bobby Zelensky, fresh off his win at the Pocono Raceway in his 9th playoff appearance.
Sacramento, California native Dylan Alt will start inside of row 13 alongside another California native Logan Clampett. Nick Ottinger for William Byron Esports, 2020 champion of this series, will roll off to the inside of row 14 alongside Seth DeMerchant. And Chente Salas, another playoff driver for Kanana Esports, starts alongside Michael Guess for Vegas Inferno. He'll roll off in 30th.
And back in 31st, the C4 Energy Chevrolet for Junior Motorsports. Blake McCandless on the inside of row 16. Garrett Lowe for the BS Plus Competition Camp. Saw his feature earlier on in Italy for the NASCAR Euro Series. He's on the outside in that position. Donovan Strauss, the other end of the Atlassian Williams Sim Racing Camp, is inside of row number 17 with Jim Beaver Esports' Colin Keister, winner at Las Vegas earlier on this season. Playoff driver deep in the field. Same for the 2019 champ on the Channel 199 Sim Racing team owned by Travis Pastrana. Zach Novak deep in the field. Michael Cozy Jr. outside for the ERA Esports camp in P number 36.
Final 4 drivers on the grid this evening: Jim Beaver Esports' Nate Stewart and RFK's Timmy Holmes, row 19. And the final 2 starters, RFK Racing's Colin Bowden and shotgun on the field for Kanana Esports. Alexander Russell completes the 40-car grid for round 15 of the 2025 eNASCAR Coca-Cola iRacing Series at Michigan. We turn our attention now from the grid to our pole sitter, and Kenneth Bueno is caught up with all kinds of fun stuff here as Tucker Minter will be joining us momentarily. KB, what a job though to put the car on pole here in as important a race as this.
It's a good-looking car as well, James. That Logitech G Chevrolet. One thing to notice as well, all the playoff drivers, 10 of them in this field, they are decked out in red with their windshield banners, their spoilers, their roof numbers. They're all decked out in that Coca-Cola red. That will tell you which drivers are going to be running for the title later on this year. Well, let's get running with the pole sitter tonight, Tucker Minter, driver of his number 97 Chevrolet. And Tucker, it is a great time to be on the pole. First race of the playoffs. You've got a chance to lock yourself into the championship 4 right here and right now. What is it going to take tonight at Michigan to be able to step up and try and get that advancement in this race?
Yeah, I mean, it's obviously the best place to start. I wish it were going to rain right now and we just call it right here, but it's going to be a crazy race with a lot of strategy, I think. Just when you take tires, how many tires you're going to take. It's going to be about making the right decisions on the calls right there and kind of living with what you have. And, hopefully you have the right adjustments and you're there at the end.
And with a lot of the non-playoff drivers around you, how much will that play a big role in it? Unique to this style of sport in which you are racing not only against your championship competitors, but against the rest of the field. So how big of an impact will that play for you and your mindset, not only tonight, but for these playoffs?
I don't think it changes the mindset. I mean, everybody here wants to win, whether you're in the playoffs or not. So I'm just going to do everything I can to keep this bright blue Logitech G machine up front. And luckily I got Chris up here, a good friend of mine, and then hopefully we can ward everybody off for all 70 laps.
All right, Tucker, great job putting that Chevrolet on pole. Hopefully we'll talk to you later tonight. Best of luck in this race.
Thanks, guys.
James Pike, that is Tucker Minter, pole sitter, playoff driver here from Michigan.
Looking to find his way to victory lane at the end of the evening, and more importantly, lock himself into the championship 4 and make his way to the NASCAR Hall of Fame, where he has competed on that stage before, once 2 years ago. Looking to make his second trip to Charlotte here in just a few weeks' time. We are ready. We are set for the 2025 eNASCAR Coca-Cola iRacing Series playoffs. Pace car will make the hard left-hand turn onto pit road, and Tucker Minter for William Byron Esports will lead us to green for 70 laps of action here in the Irish Hills of Michigan as we wait and wait and wait, and Barney the flagman waves the green flag, and we are underway with the Coke Series here at Michigan International Speedway. Already cars feigning 3 and 4 wide as Minter leads the pack onto the back straightaway. Oh, there's a big turn, big slide there. Steven Wilson got into one of them, caution out the first time. It's the 19 machine of Eddie Kerner that goes around. He started third on the grid and has lost a ton of track position, Kenneth Bueno, before we even complete a lap.
And they were just about 3 wide, James, as they were coming off of turn 2, and I had noticed several instances of the aero packing feature. If you're right on the quarter panel with driver or right on the bumper, you can take the air off of the rear spoiler. Car in front starts to go sideways. It's exactly what transpired with Eddie Kerner. He was way sideways off of turn 2 before Wilson got into him. Check out that bright highlighted Ford Mustang in the middle. That's the 6 Karma machine of Eddie Kerner. Hasn't had much luck this season. He's already loose before he touches the 77. Wilson goes sideways. Right behind him, nowhere to go, is Cody Bias. And thankfully, James, the entire field got around without hitting the 19 and creating some more collateral damage, but it's going to be a huge rhythm disruptor for everyone at the front, including your pole sitter, Tucker Minter, because nothing worse than having a caution come out in the first lap, not giving you the opportunity to get out those pre-race jitters and settle into a rhythm early.
That you make a good point in that could have been a lot worse than it actually was. I think another point we can worry about is just how tricky it can be to restart these cars. We'll be back with more action for the eNASCAR Coca-Cola iRacing Series in just a moment from Michigan.
Every time you sit behind the wheel, you buckle up for the unexpected. You get ready to take on the competition and brace yourself for the chaos, the speed, the weather, the unknown. But above all, when strapping in, you put trust in yourself, your intuition, making your guide to win, your drive to win.
He's a winner in this.
And nothing is going to stop you from winning.
Welcome to the final fight for the playoffs. More heat, more heartbreak, more chances slipping away. From Iowa to Watkins Glen, Richmond to Daytona, every lap, every pass, every point matters. Now it's time for more desperation, more determination, more drama. Only on NBC and streaming on Peacock. Welcome to the home stretch. Welcome to NASCAR.
This portion of the broadcast is brought to you by Burger King and DoorDash. Coke Zero Sugar is unlocking a free race day meal at Burger King with orders of $20 or more on DoorDash now through August 24th. Logitech G. Through design, engineering, and a love of driving games, Logitech G takes racing simulation to another level. Logitech G, the official wheel and pedals of the eNASCAR Coca-Cola iRacing series. And by Sunoco. From fueling your favorite NASCAR teams to filling up at the pump, Sunoco is trusted to help vehicles perform at their peak. Sunoco, performance is what we do.
Welcome back to coverage of the eNASCAR Coca-Cola iRacing Series live from the virtual Michigan International Speedway. James Pike and Kenneth Bueno here, ready to bring you all the action. An early caution for a spin by 6 Karma's Eddie Kerner has us slowed under the yellow with 4 laps complete, but the lights are off the pace car, KB, and we are about to go back to green flag racing.
Yeah, and we're having the rule here in effect so early on in this race because we had that yellow right before we completed a green flag lap. Race control says we're going to single them out, try and clean this up. They did this a couple times this year. It has worked mostly, especially when things get a little out of hand. So they're hoping that this single file restart maybe fan things out for turn 1, but also help with the level of cleanliness off of turn 2.
And if you're starting at the front of the field, it will help with your track position greatly. As Tucker Minter steps back on the gas pedal, and we are back to green flag racing at Michigan. Good push there from Christopher Hill just behind him. Tyler Gary there, and they're a little bit side by side further back. Blaze Crawford looking to the inside of Connor Yarashak through 1 and 2.
Lots of great battling already. Kerwin under some heavy fire. And in the middle of all this, of course, is Steven Wilson. Got that touch from Eddie Kerner off the spin from the opening lap. He does have a dent on the right front of his car. It hasn't affected his aerodynamic performance yet, but we'll keep an eye on it on the former champion of this series back in 2023. Near contact, Fabiola Timbolson nearly getting into Blaze Crawford, Quentin Warman, and how about the number 40 car right in front, Connor Yarashak, making it a great battle inside the back half of this top 10.
As you all see some of these battles on the racetrack, a new addition to our scoring pylon on the left-hand side of your screen for the playoffs. Those drivers who are playoff eligible not only have red spoilers and red windshield banners and red roof numbers, but they are highlighted in red on that pylon. So if you're wondering who's competing in the playoffs, just look for the red. That'll be the drivers chasing after the Dale Earnhardt Jr. Cup. Here's an onboard with your leader of this race, William Byron Esports' Tucker Minter out of Warrenton, Virginia.
And already getting a good look, James, at where everyone is fanning out across Michigan. This is one of those D-shaped 2-mile ovals in which there are multiple grooves available and there is a lot of draft involved. So you have that balance between trying to settle in a line, make sure you understand where the draft, where the momentum is going, but also making sure you not only save your Goodyear Eagles underneath you, but also make sure you can expand across different lanes to be as fast as possible and make up the positions when it matters. And it really shows right here with Jordy Lopez at Red Banner, PS Plus Competition Chevrolet, how he rolled the inside on Parker White just a little faster there, but as soon as he gets a car up top, down the straightaways, he is at a loss unless he has some help right behind him, which he does in the form of a 6 Karma Ford Mustang back in, I believe that is Daniel Falkingham back there to try and assist entering turn 1.
Lots of battles all over the racetrack. You get a good look at Graham Bowen and company fighting for 11th, and there's the battle for the race lead on the top end portion of your screen. And KB, I think you make a great point. You see, especially in the middle of these corners, how much these drivers are fanning out, trying to find some clean air, which is important. But this is a track where you can lean into the draft a little bit. And I think especially with how difficult it can be to pass with these vehicles, something that these drivers are going to have to be mindful of all night long, finding the balance between when you want to have your nose out in clean air and when you want to be tucked up behind somebody.
Just a big difference, James, from what we saw at Pocono several weeks ago, right? I mean, tunnel turn, maybe even a bit of turn 3 in some cases. You have a favored line, which is usually the inside, but even late in that race, saw drivers go way up to the outside wall on the shallow bank turn 3, which is something you don't see often, but here you can make it work. And the same deal with that high bank turn 1, how you're able to use that banking to go up high and use that momentum to your advantage. It's sort of what helped Bobby Zelensky stay up in the front, playing the draft, playing that momentum when it mattered the most, and all of a sudden he had a race-winning car and all that track position to go with it. Some great looks at what we're expecting early on. I think after that first yellow, got everything out of the way, James. So as you get a good look on board with Kwame Scott and his Chevrolet entering turn one, everyone has slowed things down. They understand there's still a lot of this race to go.
And speaking of Bobby Z, he was just in front of Kwame on that onboard shot. We move up a little bit further in the field and see some good action with some of the Apex Racing and E-Racer drivers. To see a Channel 199 Sim Racing driver in the mix there as well. But good fighting here already early on in this race. These are all your drivers up in the top 4.
And what a great end of this season, or at least the last several weeks it's been for the Apex Racing number 96 and Christopher Hill. He had a rough start to his rookie campaign in 2025. His last 2 races have been top 5s, including P2 at Pocono just 2 weeks ago. So Christopher Hill is starting to be at the right place at the right time. All that momentum kicking in could very well help him as he sits 19th in standings, trying to escape relegation at the end of the season. There are those points on the right side of your screen. We're going to be watching those all night long, and just kind of how we were talking about the playoff points with some of those drivers, particularly Zach Novak that was near the cut, Jordy Lopez that was nearly under fire from the likes of Dylan Alt, Michael Cozy Jr., a bunch of other guys that are in that group. This is where it all matters now. 6 drivers going to be out. By the time we escape Phoenix, only 4 will get in. Not a lot of changes so far in this group, understanding how much differences there are in points, but so far so good for a majority of them. Zach Novak really does have to work though. Tough qualifying effort. He's having to carve his way through the gauntlet in the back.
Novak started 35th for Channel 199 Sim Racing, currently finds himself in 31st. And for all the great work the Connecticut native did just banking points throughout the season, at this stage of the campaign, it is the wins that begin to separate you. It is the wins that the other drivers have in these playoffs that Zach does not. That's why he doesn't really have a lot of playoff points to bank on. But if you can make moves through the traffic, gain a little bit of track position, and set yourself up, especially if this race plays out like it did a year ago, where we do have some cautions to break it up, you can leapfrog the field a little bit more easily. So a lot of work to do for Novak, but plenty of time to do it as well.
That's a good point, and we've seen it happen before with Novak this season to where he didn't have a great qualifying effort but still ended up managing either a top 5 or a top 10. I mean, you think back to Pocono. I mean, he qualified 13th, not the worst in the world, just around the mid-pack, but we understand and we've seen so far this season, James, how volatile that mid-pack is with everyone making moves, everyone being aggressive and just trying to gain as much track position as possible. He used a bit of that strategy and of carving through the field just by natural pace and a great setup to put himself into the top 3 at the end of that race. So the 2019 Coke Series champion has a lot of that experience, knows what it's like to make it to the championship 4 and exceed at the highest level, but right now just taking it foot by foot, step by step early on. It's only lap 14.
2 other drivers that I think are worth keeping an eye on because they're back there with Zach Novak. You can see them on screen now. Colin Keister and Chente Salas. All 3 of these drivers have some work to do to try and climb up through the running order and gain on some of these drivers running towards the top end of the field. You can see Bobby Z running in 15th. I believe there's a pretty big gap between Bobby Z and this group of Salas and Novak and company and Keister all trying to race their way up towards the rest of the playoff drivers. You see it there. 15th all the way back to 26th. So again, work to do for these guys.
And again, James, that's why we've harped on track position so much over the last several races, from Indy and Pocono to even tonight's race from Michigan. At Texas and Phoenix, it'll play a different role, but at these larger 2.5 mile ovals that have their unique configurations to them, it's all about gaining very quickly over the first several laps, because after the update, dirty air was enhanced, so it's much harder to be in the wake of a car in front of you and have your car arc into the corner and rotate like you would if you were in clean air. So you really have to be mindful of where you're placing your car at all times. In the middle of the corner, down these straightaways, you got to figure out where is best for your setup with the way you prepped it, and that's why everyone's so aggressive at the start. Dylan Duvall, boy, what a loose moment there. 1 and 2, nearly had the Toyota sideways, saved it trying to hound on Tucker Minter. That's a big switch between dirty air and a tight condition, and then stepping into that clean air, and the car loosens up and gets very free. What a great job for Duvall. And now all of a sudden, Christopher Hill, Blaze Crawford, and the whole gang in this top 5 are starting to get into it.
That's part of it, KB. I think the other thing that people tend to forget a lot about, especially here at Michigan, yes, you have banking. Yes, you go incredibly fast, especially on corner entry, but you do sort of have to roll back into the throttle on corner exit. You can't just stand on it, expect to gain time, because you will burn your tires off if you do that every lap. But there's sort of a threshold that you have to hit to make sure that you rotate with the rear of the car, but trouble a little bit further back. It's a playoff driver, Colin Keister, in the fence. Second yellow of the evening comes out on lap 17.
And that, James, is the big fear for playoff drivers. You do not want to be mid-pack. You don't want to be in the back, because if something goes awry, it goes bad in a very big hurry. Keister got touched by, I believe it was Taylor Hurst, but he was loose in the entry of turn 1. We'll get a replay of that, but that is not the right way to start off a playoff campaign. Keister is the only driver out of this 10, James, by the way, who's in his first ever playoff appearance, so he's got a lot to learn, but now a junked race car, 18 laps in the books.
And a mountain to climb on points, almost certainly. Plenty of this race left to play out, but Colin Keister very likely going to be in a hole as we take a look at the replay and see what happened entering turn 1. He gets a little bit loose on corner entry. He's trying to check it up and then gets a little bump there from Taylor Hurst that sends him right into the outside wall.
And what happens there is probably a mix of downshifting, a mix of crossing the seams, or maybe it just rotated a bit too much while he was trying to get through underneath Ryan Luza. And then Taylor Hurst, I mean, he really has nowhere to go. He's following in the line. He sees the 15 check up in Keister, and all of a sudden he's thinking, I either got to get out of the way or I just got to figure out how to slow down as much as possible. And by that time, it's a little too late. Keister's trying to save it. And we know with how snappy these next-gen cars are, it's so easy to overcorrect. So for Keister, that is a destroyed car. He may be the first driver out of this race for sure, and that's going to really put you behind. Although he does have the win from Las Vegas, gives him those extra playoff bonus points to kind of use as a cushion, it's not big enough of a safety net, especially this early. He's going to be in a big deficit heading into Texas.
As the field comes down pit road, I want you all to turn your attention to the very bottom of our Logitech G race format graphic. The most important thing to know right here, your estimated pit window, 39 to 44 laps. Do the math, and that puts you on the fringes of making it close to the end. But everybody coming down pit road right now almost certainly is going to need at least one more yellow and probably a few more KB to feel good about making it at least within the scheduled race distance.
Yeah, it's going to be really close. I mean, when you go green, you can schedule at least one green flag pit stop sort of midway through this race, and you think to yourself, all right, one stop and I'm done. But with all these yellows, you know, we've seen from Pocono and even a bit of Indianapolis just how chaotic it can get, and it's that one pit stop that will determine the rest of your strategy, whether you're guys like Blake McCandless and some others that we saw at Indy save a bunch of fuel and run laps up front, or if you're some of those guys that want to be a little more safe on that. And because of the big swing in strategy, it could result in big swings right here, James, on the left side of your screen with all those playoff points on the line.
Look at Dylan Duval in particular with the way he's running. There may be some spots that get claimed off wins depending on how these playoffs go. But if it were just one race, Duval would be pointing his way in courtesy of his P3 run right now. Steven Wilson with all those playoff points, you see just how big a bank he's got. Almost 40 points. That's not quite a full race's worth of points, but if you're Steven Wilson, you have a ton of breathing room. Even if you have to race your way in on points, you set yourself up well, courtesy of the 6 wins that he picked up in the regular season.
You know how impressive that is, James, that you can go into the playoffs with one whole race of playoff bonus points?
Just about,
that you're
right?
so far ahead that you can have a horrible race between tonight, Texas, and Phoenix, and you can still find yourself relatively okay. Maybe not fully safe, but you can still be relatively good.
Could be. While we've got a moment under the yellow as the lights go off, let's take a look at the William Byron Esports Bracket Challenge presented by Logitech G. If you're looking for the 4 drivers you want to watch tonight, who made it to the semifinals, is Christopher Hill versus Parker White and Zach Novak versus Ryan Luza. Hill currently leads Parker White in 9th, Hill in 2nd. Novak, we talked about, he's buried in the field right now in 30th, and Ryan Luza currently 18th. So as it stands, Christopher Hill versus Ryan Luza for the championship of that at Texas Motor Speedway in 2 weeks' time. But again, lots can change here over the next 50 laps.
I want to wonder, James, who's that one person that picked Christopher Hill to win that bracket challenge? Because they call him Christopher Money Hill for a reason. He can give the money to whoever picked him to get into that final round and win at Texas. And this is what we're going to look like for William Byron Esports, two very different ends of the spectrum, with Tucker Minter, who's trying to advance into the championship 4 once again in his Coke Series career, and the Audi boss, Nick Ottinger. It's been a surprisingly down season for the very tenured and veteran Coke Series driver. And the number 25 car on Audi boss going to try and catch up, while Minter is going to try to hold the rest of the competition back off the restart.
Everybody bunched up. We're double file once again for the restart to come on lap 21. Minter and Hill have led the field most of the way. They will lead us back to green flag racing as we get going once more from Michigan. They take off Duvall and Kerwin in that second row. We'll wait to see who pops out of line, who gets a good run on this restart, as Minter is going to arc it high off into turn 1.
He saw that inside line, just how much they failed back to get right next to Tucker Minter. He led the line. He gave himself so much space, and the outside just had better organization. Middle 3 wide. All of a sudden, Femiolson Bolson in the ringer. He's going to try and get down. Now a spinner. Tyler Gary in trouble off of turn 2. Trouble on the back straightaway. Could there have been someone else involved? I believe yes. Kwame Scott, the other driver that is taken out just a bit in this incident off the second corner. And just like the initial start, James, we have trouble off the second corner, but this time more drivers involved.
More drivers involved, most notably Zach Novak got damage in that incident. And Novak, from what I can tell just off the top of this, the most prominent of the drivers affected, playoff contender here with damage to the right front of his car. So Novak with bigger work to do in addition to trying to gain all those track positions. But yes, Tyler Gary went around, Kwame Scott went around. Again, one of those incidents that could have been bigger, KP, somehow wasn't, but it still tripped up a few drivers in this field.
And it was in the middle of 3 wide where Gary was kind of faintly there, and there was either contact or maybe just a loose race car. We'll get a better look at the replay, but you're right about Zach Novak. That's a huge hit to the right front. I don't know if it's suspension damage or not. That could be a big deal breaker to make it to the championship 4 from here at Michigan. But here's a better look. The aerial shot, that's that purple and black E-Racer Toyota. He just gets slightly tapped by the 14th set, the Merchant off turn 2. Very fine margins, and he backs up into Dylan Alt, and then all of a sudden goes sideways. And in the aftermath, Donovan Strauss gets Kwame Scott and sends the Sunoco Chevrolet spinning. Here's the important look, though, from the playoff driver, Zach Novak. Sees the smoke, slows down. Not sure if there was much space to go. Couldn't see the spinning car until right about 5 feet away from him. So here's another look. Secondary tap right there. The touch from DeMerchant to the spinning Gary. Strauss gets out of the way, but then taps Scott. And then all of a sudden in the back, I think that's Nick Ottinger that just had nowhere to go to the outside wall. So lots of big-time damage to these drivers. And Gary was up in the top 3 earlier on tonight. All of a sudden soured here off this caution.
And it's a point that we've heard drivers talk about again and again in Coke Series competition. If you don't have the track position, you can put yourself in trouble and leave yourself in places where your future is at least at some point out of your hands. That's exactly what's happened to Novak. Now, if there's a silver lining for Novak, it's that the caution laps here at Michigan are long. So he's going to have more time to repair his car on pit road and not potentially go a lap down than he would at, say, a Bristol or a Richmond or a Martinsville. But again, still work to do, and then you're going to lose all that track position too. Currently scored 38th here in the running order.
And you think of how early this race has gone through, 23 laps and already 2 playoff drivers in trouble, with Colin Keister basically out of this race, hoping that he can try and salvage some points, and then Zach Novak with that damage. It appears from what it looks like on pit road, the car isn't too damaged to the point where the suspension is affected, so that's really good news for Novak. That means he can try and buffing out those dents on the right front of the car and get it back out before he can be docked a lap down from the pace car on the field. However, like you said, it's that track position, all of that you're going to lose. And then for what? You're going to go on a restart, maybe another risk that some drivers touch. Sometimes they tangle, they get into trouble, and then it's on to you to try to escape. But again, hoping that you don't end up in the same situation, having to reset yourself, come back down pit road, and fix the car. It can be so frustrating when it can get a bit hard to pass. You have a tough qualifying effort, and you think to yourself, I've kind of dug myself in a hole. It takes those veteran drivers and a good mentality to escape out of that negative zone. Hopefully Novak, long way to go, he can try and fix this car and get it back going.
Novak and Gary both beat the pace car on pit roads. They're still on the lead lap. However, damage still to both of those cars, and especially for Novak. Yes, it looks like it's primarily aerodynamic damage, but this is a very aero-sensitive track. That car is going to be hurting a little bit on raw speed unless he can tuck up behind somebody else and stay in the draft. So it sort of limits what you can or can't do if you are Novak coming back to this restart. A reminder that Burger King and DoorDash invite you to refresh your way to the finish line, courtesy of Coke Zero Sugar, who's unlocking a free race day meal at Burger King with all orders of $20 or more on DoorDash. And that offer extends now through August 24th. So you log on to the DoorDash website or the DoorDash app to place your order, run over to Burger King, and pick up yourself an ice-cold Coca-Cola Zero Sugar, along with a good Whopper and fries. So we have a moment under yellow, and as we get our way back towards green flag racing and as we get set to take the green once again, I think worth noting that this race, in a lot of ways, may be about just keeping yourself alive. Maybe not necessarily winning it and clinching into playoff 4, great if you can, but just give yourself a manageable workload going into Texas and Phoenix, something that these drivers will keep in the back of their minds as we get set for another restart on lap 25. Tucker Minter, Christopher Hill back on the gas pedal, back to lead us again. Good jump there for Christopher Hill. Looks like Dylan Duval is going to be able to tuck up. Minter sort of checked up a little bit, not his best restart, and people making moves a little bit further back. Here goes Duval to the inside for second underneath Hill.
Remember, good thing about those single file restarts, you get a good enough run, you can fling to the inside and make something happen. Duval down the bottom, Hill gonna try and defend. They'll stay door to door, and that's good news for Tucker Minter. He'll pull away to the tune of maybe a car length or two, and Steven Wilson in the back, he tried it as well. Alongside Dylan Duval, not as successful. Dive to the inside on the rookie Quentin Warman, making his appearance inside the top 5. Remember, Wilson got that damage earlier on from the lap 1 incident. He survived up until this point. Now the battle for 5th, battle for 3rd up the road as well.
Two battles here on the racetrack, first and second all by themselves, and they are losing ground. Are Duval and Kerwin in 3rd as you see a big group of cars further back in the pack. Jimmy Mullis, Colin Bowden, Timmy Holmes, everybody racing each other for all kinds of track position as they exit turn 2. This is right around the 20th position on the racetrack.
And this is a good look at what's going on in the mid-pack. Again, why as a playoff driver, you kind of don't want to be around this sector of the field just because of how hectic it gets. And look at the similar cast. And 4 wide in the middle of 3 and 4. Blake McCandless sending his nose under, and it's going to stick. Play alongside Garrett Lowe and take the train to the promised land. Entering turn 1, Michael Cozy Jr., Cody Bias alongside as they step into the top 30. And what an unbelievable job they did to keep those cars clean. More drama as Lowe sends it up the banking. Inside goes Matt Busa. He'll try to make the move underneath, and he's got it. This all going down for 24th on the racetrack with many of these hungry guys trying to point their way forward.
That high line is where you want to keep the momentum, and Lowe just about pulled off a perfect slide job there on Matt Busa. Lowe going to run that high line once again, but you can carry momentum off of corner exit on that high side. That's where you want to be if you want to complete a pass on somebody. We look a little bit further up the road and further up the racetrack. Blaze Crawford, Finley Ola. How about Parker White giving a bump draft to Steven Wilson into turn 1?
And just a reminder, between Kerner and Bias in the middle of that group inside the top 30, they had good starts. Both of them started this race inside the top 11. They were involved in that lap 1 incident, so they're probably hungrier than ever to try and move their way up through the field and make an effort and then attempt to revitalize their race. There's Blaze Crawford. Look at the inside. Not trying to go for 1 on Kerr Juracek, but go for a 2nd on Femiola onto Bolson, and the Sunoco Chevrolet stepping up on the high side. And these 2 rookies have been so impressive, James, over the course of this young season for them both. Juracek leading Rookie of the Year standings. Blaze Crawford just slowly chasing him down with good finish after good finish. Great battle with Jordy Lopez on the exit of this top 10 group.
But say, speaking of hungry, Blaze Crawford representing that DoorDash and Burger King offer that we talked about a little bit earlier in the show. So makes me a little bit hungry for a Burger King.
Yeah, honestly, look, a lot of people don't agree with me. I say Burger King is the best fast food out there, but that's just me. I like a little chicken sandwich. I like a little Whopper, James. I don't know about you, but again, Blaze has had the most appetizing paint schemes of all time this season between all of the sponsors we've had. He's had good-looking cars, and he's ran well so far in this race. P10 holding off that playoff driver in Lopez.
Now, KB, are we so certain, as much as I know you love your burgers with Coca-Cola, is that not just you being a Miami guy backing a Miami-based company in Burger King, perhaps?
I mean, maybe. I do pass by their headquarters every now and then. It's right alongside the airport across the highway. I see the logo and I'm like, yo, represent. Gotta represent.
I can appreciate that. That's fair. That's staying true to your roots into your hometown as we get a good look here at Christopher Hill, who's consistently been in second. You want to talk about drivers who I think are impressed. We go on board with Casey Kerwin, running the Coca-Cola number 24 there for the Kansas City Pioneers, just behind these drivers here. But really impressive run, not just tonight for Christopher Hill, but you want to talk about drivers who I think have found their footing in this series as the season has gone on. And if we had like a most improved award, Christopher Hill, I think, absolutely would be in contention, because this is not the first time he's had a shot to run up in the top 5.
It's a mix of two things, James. It means good finishes and good speed at some tracks that maybe he's very fond of, tracks that he likes. It gives you so much momentum, so you think to yourself, hey, I can do this. I can compete with the best of the best, even though I'm a rookie, and I can start putting together these good finishes and go after a win. The second deal is that it's kind of out of necessity, right? He's sitting 19th in standings. He needs to escape relegation if he wants to stay in this series confirmed for 2026. So not only is a way of stepping up at the right time, confidence-wise for him, but it's a step up in the right time, points-wise for him as well. He's only 9 points above that top 20 relegation cut line. And Hill, I mean, told us at Pocono how he was so excited being up there, and he just missed a little bit to get the victory over Bobby Zelensky. Could tonight be that big time change for Apex Racing and get them their first ever Coke Series win?
And what that would do to the playoff scenario as well, because that's one race that the playoff drivers cannot use to lock themselves in. So that would effectively guarantee us at minimum 2 spots in the championship 4 on points if Christopher Money Hill, one of the better nicknames in this series, no doubt, can find his way to victory lane. A little bit further back, here's a look at the battle between Casey Kerwin, Quentin Warman is there, Stephen Wilson, Connor Yarashak, Parker White. So you've got an impressive mix of veterans and rookies, and the 2 most recent champions of the series, all within the top 10.
And this is good news for both Casey Kerwin and Dylan Duvall, because Duvall came in as the last driver that went into this postseason format at the top 10, squeezing his way in after Pocono with a very good running car, the Channel 199 Sim Racing. He's down 10 from the cut line going into this race. He's gained a lot just by being in the right place and not really pushing the issue. It's taking one to be aggressive, but it also takes one to be patient way back when the moment settles. And for Duvall, I mean, he's probably content with his car and understanding that it's not going to be the right time to try and put himself either in dirty air excessively or try and get himself out of a drafting line to which it'll hurt him, and a freight train will come after later on in this race. So good job by Kerwin and for Duvall, staying in a place to which they don't need to shine in the spotlight too much as we approach halfway. They just have to be in contention. That's all that matters.
Working away right on top of the halfway point, getting a good look at Chente Salas for Canon Esports, who rides in the 20th position, the driver with the most work to do amongst those who do not have damaged race cars. Novak currently on his own out of the draft in 38th, and Colin Keister being scored in 40th. So if you're Chente, little bit of pressure I think that you're under at this point. If we look a little bit further up the racetrack here, get a good look at the battle between Wilson and Yershak. But again, time to do it, and we could have more yellows to shake things up too.
And what you're watching here between Warman, Wilson, Euroshak, and even a bit of Parker White sitting back in PA is the level of separation, how confident they are in making inside moves or going way up top, because they understand that the draft is there, but unlike the restart, there aren't so many cars packed up in such a small area of real estate on the racing circuit. So you have a bit more leeway to send it in a bit more, maybe take a slide job here and there, go underneath the driver, because even if you fail, the outside drivers behind you may be too far back to make a move on the front straightaway or back straightaway. So it's good news for guys like Wilson. He can try and experiment without losing so much. It's a risk and reward game.
Great shot here. Some of these battles off the rear deck lid of race leader Tucker Minter. And for more information on everything in the world of eNASCAR, if you want to see the standings, the season schedule, or if you want to learn how to join the eNASCAR community, you can log on to eNASCAR.com today. Tucker Minter holding serve at the front of this field, but everybody finding clean air behind him. We're seeing a lot of these drivers in the top 10 try and fan out. Duvall rolling that high line. Kerwin and Warman and Wilson looking a little bit lower, but everybody again searching for their line, which Michigan has got 5 lanes that are viable. You can do that.
Hey, you can. We've seen it. It's so much fun to kind of understand where the drivers are going and why they're doing it, not only for the clean air, but maybe they're a bit more confident. They hang on one seam maybe than the other. They can have a faster race car. Look at what Wilson just did there. Understanding there was enough space between himself and Connor Euroshak that even if he didn't get under Quentin Warman and stayed down there, he could file right back in line and settle through. He was just picking him off one by one. We kind of see that at super speedways as well. If you're doing what is quoted the Dale line, you're running single file right up against the outside wall. if you have enough space, you can sling under in one corner because you have the shortest way around, then find enough space to slide back in and make one position slowly but surely. It's a method that is proven to work in some of these races, and for Wilson, he's using that just to get by Warman, and now for positions that'll really matter here between Duvall and Casey Kerwin. 3 playoff drivers inside the top 5, not the leader in Tucker Minton.
Good look on board Quentin Warman, the resident of Urbana, Illinois, right near the campus of the University of Illinois at Urbana-Champaign, which we see represented in the eNASCAR College iRacing Series once a time or two. A rookie in this series trying to hang on to it there. Big check of the wheel, left and right out of the corner. And tucking up behind Steven Wilson on these straights. He's got that run going to high line. He could probably make a move on Wilson if he wanted to. May try it here, but he's not choosing to step out of line. Keeping the track position more important at this stage for Quentin Warman.
And a tough position there. You can't see it, but coming up on the high side, there is Connor Euroshak. Yeah, pointing the nose at the exit of turn 4. Had such a great run, and now is where Warman's going to be under heavy fire because White is there, Olaton Boson is there. There's a long line of cars that are willing to take these spots away. For Warman, a great rookie season, even if he's not able to capture Rookie of the Year points standings at the end of the season at Homestead of Miami. Got a top 15 at Pocono, top 10 at the Chicago Street Course, which we all know, James, super tough road course to drive in any case, not even just with the NASCAR Next Gen car. And so Warman's got a lot of fire he can work with as the playoff picture continues to shape. Again, we talk about Kerwin and Duvall, where they are is working for them in terms of manageable gaps. Now Kerwin's got to worry about Steven Wilson down to the inside at turn 1.
The last driver who needs any extra points, I think, if you're anybody else in that playoff campaign, is Steven Wilson. So those two battling out for it. Also, another point on Hayek I wanted to make. Great season for them between Warman fighting for Rookie of the Year, and Dylan Alt was actually the first driver out on points. So got 11th in the regular season standings and is in good position to make it into the top 20 with a few good runs here over the final 4 races of the campaign. As you get a great look here at some of the 3-wide racing action that you see only at Michigan, where these cars can go 3, 4, 5 wide. You can see them run just about anywhere on this racetrack, but the draft, more often than not, is the most important thing.
You know, the mentality of a racer is to pass. The mentality of a racer is to win. That's what you're watching, obviously, but it's also for the setup of this potential green flag stop situation that we may have. Because you look at the rest of this field, all of them pitted around lap 19 after the first couple yellows. They're now 23 laps into their stint. We looked at our Logitech G race analysis. You can go just about 44 laps on your tank of gas in a stint, so they cannot make it confirmed at the end of this race. That means there is still at least one more pit stop, and coming under 29 laps to go, you got to start thinking to yourself, number one, where am I relative to literally everyone else, and am I going to do the under or overcut? I'd say with Wilson here, potentially an overcut given how much time he's had in the draft to work through the pack. That could help also drivers like Parker White. He stayed in the back end of the top 10, hasn't gained so much, but he could save a bit of fuel just laying off the gas pedal just a bit down these straightaways or even in the corners.
The furthest any of these drivers can make it is going to be about ballpark, call it maybe 10 laps to go-ish, somewhere around. So you're right. I think it'd be very difficult for anybody to make it on gas. The question here, as you think about this strategy, and given that you could fit now and make it to the end, is how soon you want to make that move happen and how quickly would it come down pit road. If you're running towards the back of the field, I almost think it's smarter to just go ahead and come down out and try it, because we stay green, you stand to gain a ton of track position, and you're already running in the back anyway. These drivers up front, you would expect them to stay out and wait as long as they can, see if we get another yellow that will effectively force everyone's hand, come down pit road and allow them to lock into track position for the final few races here as we get a good look at BS Plus Competitions, Jordy Lopez.
And it's a driver from New Jersey and someone who pointed himself in despite having a pretty rough finish at Pocono 2 weeks ago. Wasn't the highlight of his stint, though, coming up into this moment, James, because Jordy had been on a tear. Top 10 after top 10 after top 10. He had been the only driver up until Pocono to get top 10s in every race in Segment 3. He deserves to be here just as much as everyone else, but right now he is playing the aggressor on Blaze Crawford. He's been trying to get at him for a little while, get around him. Crawford has denied every opportunity that Jordy has had at fully clearing. More contact down the back straightaway. They are not having it with each other into turn 3.
You can see it all over Jordy Lopez's face. He is not happy at all with the way Blaze Crawford is racing him. Hard-nosed door-to-door racing in the Coke Series at its finest here as Lopez tries to arc it way high off the corner, get that big run down the front straightaway, clear Blaze Crawford. Crawford tried to tuck it behind, but Malik Ray was already there, so Crawford may lose a few spots here. Meanwhile, further up the racetrack, look at Steven Wilson looking at the inside there of Dylan Duvall, and potentially might be getting himself into the battle with Christopher Hill for second.
Slow but sure gains, and the good thing here is to get those fellow playoff drivers in battles that have slowed them up so much, and that's why I asked Tucker Minter from the poll, how big of an impact will these non-playoff drivers have? You know, you see them as competition, you can use them either as a buffer to help you, or if they're too aggressive, in the case of Jordy Lopez, it could hurt you in trying to gain more track position and get the edge over the rest of the red bannered playoff competition. So you see both sides of the coin. Spinner off of turn 4. Colin Bowden spills down to the exit of the 4th corner, down the front straightaway, but he's under the racing line. We're gonna stay green with 24 laps to go.
That almost was the yellow that a lot of these drivers were looking for, but it is not. And it allows me to go to the next point I was going to make, which is that Tucker Minter, I would believe, won't be able to make it quite as far as some of these other drivers because Minter has been in front with no drafts out for pretty much the entirety of this race. And that is something that as we get closer towards that 10 lap to go mark, if this stays green the rest of the way, we're going to watch that closely because Minter likely will have to come in just a little bit before the rest of this field.
And if you've watched a lot of the races to which Minter has been successful, James, a lot of it came from mid-pack performance and then a huge overcut that helped him get fresh tires later on. Bottom of your screen, that's the replay. There were 3 wide off of turn 2. That's Eddie Kerner, the 6 Karma Ford Mustang, clean move down to the inside. But the focus is going to be between that red, white, and blue ERA Esports 34 of Michael Cozy Jr. and then that green BuildSummaries.com Ford Mustang of Colin Bowden. It's going to be some contact off of turn 4 as Cozy hits the wall. Dylan Alt's down there to try and make the pass, but obviously it ricochets down the track, this contact, and then it sends the 6, his quarter panel right into the nose of Alt, sends him spinning down the front straightaway. But again, the rule is if you spin under the racing line, race control will not throw the yellow flag. You have to be on the racetrack for the yellow to count. So for Bowden, he's going to be in big trouble, may fall a lap down given that scenario.
Yeah, Colin Bowden, very much an innocent bystander, just got a bad bump there as Cozy bounced off the fence and sort of got ricocheted, as you said, and now has lost all that track position, currently scored in the 36th position on the racetrack for Colin Bowden. He would very much, I think, love to see a yellow flag as you get a good look at some of these battles in the top 10 and look at some of these drivers towards the back of this pack. This is Parker White, Jordy Lopez, Connor Yarishak, and Dylan Duvall. All 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, and then Jordy Lopez 10th on the racetrack. So everybody in the back half of the top 10 on screen right here.
But look at how physical they're getting, James. Look at the sideways moment off turn 2 with Parker White. Now more contact. Quentin Warman is down there on the back straightaway. This is exactly what Lopez wanted to see. As soon as Wilson made waves inside the top 6 or so, it brought all these non-playoff drivers in the middle of it. So when you're constantly going side by side to get the edge over the rest of the guys, if you're Duvall, if you're White, even if your guys up the road, you're using your tires so much to make up position and stay defensive in where you are. And it's hurt that Channel 199 Sim Racing Toyota. He's in the midst of the C, Malik Ray, Blaze Crawford, Bobby Zelensky, all of them in the mix right around this top 15. Duvall, the biggest loser of this sequence right here.
Other thing I'm noticing watching these top 5, especially compared to everybody else in the back half of the top 10, all the cars up front starting to run single file a little bit more. I wonder if they might be trying to draft off each other a little bit more, maybe just save a little bit of fuel as best as they can. And lap times have fallen off too. Best lap of the race has fallen somewhere in the, call it 37.7 range. Tucker Minter's last lap, and as he crosses the stripe this lap here, a 38.9. So they're basically a second off of their fastest lap that they've run so far tonight.
It's going to be fun, James, to see the way they make decisions on pit road now, because this race has gone green long enough. Again, we're getting right up into that fuel window. Next lap when they cross the line, that's when the fuel window will actually open. So Tucker Minter may be that first driver that comes in, but it's about, do you take 2 or 4 tires? If the laps have fallen off so much, if that tire wear is so high, are you willing to risk a freer race car by putting some fresh right side tires on, or are you going to be more confident in putting 4 fresh Goodyear Eagles on the race car? When they last came down pit road, a bulk of the field had 9, almost 10-second stops. That indicates 2 tires, not 4. So everyone's saving their tire sets for maybe a chance that they'll need them in this late race situation if the yellow does come out. but it's going to be fun to see whether Minter or the rest of the guys take 2 just to save time instead of 4, even though that'll give them the more grip.
And the basic math, the longer you can run now and the closer you can get to the end, the less fuel you need at the very end of this race. And that can make tenths of a second of difference, but that can end up making all the difference in the world. And I have to believe that pretty much everybody in this top 10 at minimum is thinking about that specifically. A little bit further back, how about the run for Chente Salas, who started in 29th, was running in the 30s at one point this evening, now up into the 12th position. Been a heroic run for him to battle back for the bad track position he had to start the race. I believe, just off my quick math, he may well be the hard charger of this race. He's gained more spots relative to his starting position than anyone else in the field tonight.
Yeah, that is 17 spots since the drop of the green for the 11 car in Vicente Salas. And remember, the hot streak he had earlier on this season could very well be in the same part here at Michigan if he's able to play this strategy right. But he had the best case scenario of a lot of those playoff drivers who were mired in the back half of the field. He escaped the drama. He got away from the carnage. He wasn't in the wrong place at the wrong time. So the bad luck didn't hit him, and it was just a matter of getting out of trouble. Now there's trouble off of turn 4. Seth DeMerchant and Logan clamp it right up against the wall. DeMerchant did not go for the spin, so again, James, more problems on the front straightaway, but no yellow.
A penny for the thoughts of all these spotters here who have been holding their breath, waiting to see if we get a yellow flag, and then all of a sudden they get back going, we say green, and they have nothing to report to their drivers. A lot of appreciation and respect for their jobs. One of the, I think, more under-heralded jobs in this series, you've got a lot of people looking at these drivers, making sure that they've got eyes on this racetrack at every single point, alongside crew chiefs, spotters, team members, folks working on setups. It speaks to the ecosystem of the Coke Series and how competitive it is that you've got so many people helping.
Yeah, there's so much that goes into the team aspect of this series and making sure that this series goes on well, and you've got the best of the best, the 40 drivers up at the front fighting for a Coke Series championship. Just to tile in on the strategy point of it, Connor Yoroshak came down pit road, but he came down pit road by himself. There wasn't anyone else that came down with him, so kind of odd to see the Letarte Esports driver go in solitarily and not have anyone else follow, but we'll just keep an eye on what Yoroshak does. Meanwhile, for Wilson, he's still eyeing in on the rookie driver, Christopher Hill. Time after time has he been diving under the inside of the Chevrolet on the top, and he hasn't been able to fully clear. I don't think there's enough space there to do it just yet. He hasn't had the pace because all that momentum is on the high side of the banking, but Wilson is putting himself kind of where Tucker Minter used to in some of his race wins this season, slowly carving through the field and making it stick.
Worth noting, too, just looking at live timing and scoring here and keeping an eye on all the stats we've got access to. 38-lap stint for the drivers who came in on that caution on lap 19, so they are close to the end on fuel. We're approaching that 10-lap to go marker. That is about when we expect just about everybody to have to come down pit road. Won't be precisely that, but it's going to be in that range unless we get a yellow. So a lot of variables to look at here. And Yoroshak, by coming in early to the point that you made, is banking on this going green the rest of the way. If that strategy is going to pan out, he's going to need this race to go to the end without a caution.
Yeah, and thankfully it's not a place where he pits so early to which he has to save so much that he can make the checkered flag comfortably. So we'll keep an eye on that. And Steven Wilson is the hard charger up at the front. He has been wheeling this Chevrolet to the front of this field by willpower alone. They're going to touch off of turn 4, and somehow they'll keep it straight. Does Christopher Hill help? Does he span across 3 wide? He'll stick with Tucker Minter, so it'll help the Logitech G Chevrolet nose out in front. But Wilson is not going to give up this pole at the exit of turn 2. Battle for the lead coming to 11 to go.
We're not terribly far away from Detroit Rock City. I wonder if the amp might have been cranked up to 11 there. Contact a little bit further back between Wilson and Hill. Steven Wilson is going elbows up now as we approach 10 laps to go. He doesn't just want to lock his way into the championship 4. He wants to win his way in with authority and break the single season record in the process. That's on the line for Wilson as he sends it off to the inside again against Tucker Minter.
Again, Wilson has played off of dominance and momentum at the right times this entire season. If it pans out for him here, it's another trip to try and go for a repeat Coke Series title that has never, ever happened before. He's going to get the nose ahead of Minter, who will fight back from the high side of the banking. He's still there. They'll remain door-to-door. Again, it's all going to be about the help from 3rd and 4th. Casey Kerwin is starting to come up into the picture, so this is not over yet.
What do you do if you're Christopher Hill, and who do you go with, and who do you help? It may end up determining, if nothing else, who's going to lead this race. Coming back to pit road as Kerwin now makes his appearance in the top 5. One car coming down on pit road. Femi Olan making his stop, so he's the first of the leaders beyond Yershak to make his presence on pit road. And now they are door-to-door for the race lead again, entering turn 1.
It can be a race for the lead, obviously, but it could be a race for the lead if you come in and out of pit road. If you have that advantage, how much will that play into your strength if you cycle out, if you even come down pit road? Minter has wasted the most fuel of everybody in this field because of how this race has gone green for so long. And Wilson, I think James has chirped over the radio. I think he is coming down pit road. He's down to the inside. There he is. And there it is. Pit stops now with 10, now 9 laps to go. Wilson, the only red bannered car in.
Is this the call that potentially wins Steven Wilson this race? And where does he come out in relation to Olan and Yerashak? The 2 questions we'll watch as Minter and Hill and company continue to lead this field inside of 10 laps to go, as strategy cards are now being played, and Wilson, one of the first amongst the top 5 to come in.
This may really help Connor Yerashak if the entire field is not willing to save enough fuel and they cannot make it to the checkered flag, because he knows he's confirmed he can run 100%. He doesn't have to wait at all, and it appears in the midst of this top 5, no one is saving fuel. They're going to try to run this thing dry all the way into the end, and that brings just 5 cars in the midst of this group. Lots of them playoff competitors, so much is on the line if you cannot cycle out. And may just be, James, that in a prayer that a yellow flag is going to fly here with the late race drama and so much track position change. So far, no flinch, though, from the race leader.
The undercut for Yerashak worked over Femi Olan and Wilson. He's ahead of those 2 by Olan by about 1.4 seconds, and then Wilson by about 2. So Yerashak, under that strategy, the first of those cars in that group, but everybody else still up front, racing for the track position, trying to go for the win with 8 laps to go.
This is so much chaos right here at the front of this field. And again, it's for that heavily contested spot to get an advancement into the championship for at Homestead Miami later on this season. That's what's on the line. It's not a normal race victory for a playoff spot. It is the grand prize and transition into what could get you the big cash at the end of this season. So you really got to watch at what's going on between these drivers and whether they're going to come down pit road. Here was some potential drama in the mid-pack. That's Dylan Duvall, the 199. I believe that's Alexander Russell, the 66. And a great save by Taylor Hurst, getting shoved down to the apron, but does a good job of staying off the inside wall. And again, James, kind of more chaos, but we're staying under green for now. All is good.
Coming down to it here in Michigan, 6 laps to go. Tucker Minter was incredibly loose off of turn 4 that time by. Christopher Hill sitting in second. Casey Kerwin with the opportunity to win his way in and get another shot at winning the title in Charlotte, racing at Homestead Miami. He's done it once before, would love to do it again, and this is as close to the lead as Casey Kerwin has been pretty much all night long, even though he's been a top 10 car for most of this race.
Yeah, now it's too late to come down pit road. You're coming down to 5 laps to go. Unless a yellow flies and shortens up the field and slows everyone down, you're not coming in, because for Wilson's sake, he pitted where he did. He's going to try and cycle out and hope that everybody else either runs out or has problems. But for all of these guys here, they're going to have to lay in that bed that they've made, and that will really affect the playoff point standings, because look at the gap. Casey Kerwin is now down with how much Vicente Salas has gained over the course of this race. Big fall-offs for not only Colin Keister with the crash, but Zach Novak and Dylan Duvall. So under this strategy, lots of points lost for Steven Wilson as well. He came in plus 40, plus 9 if we stay like this coming to 4 laps left.
If we stay like this, but if you're Wilson, you can make a gamble like the one he just did because you built up that margin in the playoffs. If you're cashing it in there, that is a way that you can play this, and I wonder if he had not quite as big of a buffer if he had made the decision to come down pit road. I'm not necessarily certain he would have. We'll see. It all depends on how these play out. 4 laps to go, though. Tucker Minter still in control of this.
And also, remember those early yellows. When everyone pitted at lap 19, James, that probably was the place where everyone said, I'm clutching and coasting. I'm going to save as much as I can. And given the fact that we've seen this race go as green as it does, and with everyone still staying out, they probably understand that they can make it all the way. Or at least if they can, it's going to be very, very close. And my biggest concern is with Tucker Minter. Again, he spent none of this race in the draft, hasn't had a lot of time to save the amount of fuel that maybe he would have desired, and it could allow these other playoff drivers to pack a formidable punch. 3 laps to go. Curran to the bottom of Christopher Hill for second.
Casey Kerwin, I think, beginning to make a move now. Tucker Minter with a big drive off in the corner, got loose in the center, lost control of it. Here comes Kerwin underneath for the race lead. He's going to clear Minter and Christopher Hill. Casey Kerwin to the point with 2.5 laps left.
And there's the yellow flag with 3 laps to go, and we will settle this out in overtime. Garrett Lowe spills in the middle of 1 and 2, and that was a perfectly timed yellow for Casey Kerwin, as the bobble by Minter, very rare in this race, happens. It happened, and Kerwin took advantage. And now we're going to settle this out with 2 laps to go.
My goodness, what a finish we have on our hands here. Everybody's going to come down and get 4 tires and fuel. This is the nightmare scenario for Wilson, Olot, and Yarashak, who banked on this race going green to the end and gave up all that track position now for absolutely nothing, because the rest of this field is going to come in, get tires, get fuel, and pit strategy at that point will be completely out the window. But Kenneth Cueto, tire strategy, on the other hand, might be something to watch.
It will. Remember, these guys have gone so long in their strategy, over 40, now 45 laps. Again, it comes down to what I mentioned earlier. Do you take 2 tires? Are you willing to have a bit more wear on the left side tires of the car, but have fresh right side tires and save time, gain position? Or are you going for the 4? Are you too confident that this race, and if you take 2, will really kill your run? It's all going to come down to this. Casey Kerwin and the rest of the pack coming down pit road. A perfectly timed yellow for the 2022 champ. James is going to get every bit of this opportunity to get a good pit stop and make this a winning play.
2 versus 4. What is the call for these drivers on pit road, knowing that the right call could potentially land you with an automatic ticket to the championship race and the opportunity to race in front of a live audience in person at the NASCAR Hall of Fame in Charlotte? A reminder of our green, white, checkered rules as these drivers come down pit road. We'll have 3 attempts to finish under green. If the white flag is taken, the race will finish under green. If we get a yellow before we get the white, we'll try it again until we run out of opportunities. The answer for a lot of these drivers at the front was 2 tires. Casey Kerwin maintains the race lead, but look who has popped up into the 2nd position off of pit road. None other than our defending champion for Atlassian Williams Sim Racing, Parker White, with an opportunity now coming off of this caution and into the restart.
Again, James, a possibility for Parker White to take another Coke Series victory. This race last year, he was so close, but so short of the win against Brian LaPrade. He's got a chance to get a win here tonight. So let's look at what caused this very pivotal yellow. It's a single car spin, and it's Garrett Lowe. I mean, we saw how Minter was so loose in the middle of the corner. These tires have fallen off considerably. Those rear tires are basically gone at this point. You don't have so much downforce on this next-gen car, you know, with a really relatively hot track temperature that we have in this race with 108 degrees on the track surface. It gets slick, and over a course of a long run, Lowe just couldn't handle it anymore. He did his best to save it, hit the wall, but car just sent around him. No other help as Spire Motorsports is at the front.
How about this? So the 2 Spire drivers who came in early are really cashing everything in on this strategy. They did not come down pit road under this yellow. They had the track position. However, they had 10-lap older tires, and they both came and got 2 tires when they came down pit road, most likely on the right-hand side, so a little bit older rubber than everybody else. So for as good as Steven Wilson has been in 2025, it is going to take his teammate, and it is going to take every ounce of skill he has in the bag to try and get win number 7, break the single season record, and lock himself into the championship 4. How about this for a box office ending?
This is going to be a hit. And you know what? Alan Cavada has said it so many times on Countdown to Green that no matter what is being thrown at Steven Wilson, he's been able to capitalize, whether it be from chaos like Indianapolis, where it went down to 3 overtime restarts and it ended under yellow and Wilson was just in the right place at the right time, or if it just comes down to raw pace and strategy, to which Wilson has been able to win. Now it's in a place where he can capture win number 7 and get into the championship 4 and continue that trend. And Alan's probably going to harp on it in the next 2 weeks at Texas and at Phoenix. This could be huge. Again, all these playoff drivers in the same realm, 4 of them inside the top 5 and the rest of them not too far away either in the rest of this top 10. It's all going to come down to this. And for Spire Motorsports, this is pivotal as well, because Femi can try and hold up the rest of those guys in the top. They can settle that rhythm on this restart and help Wilson surge ahead, not only for a championship 4 appearance, a team championship lead as well.
I was about to say the parallels to the final restart at Homestead last year in the championship race for Steven Wilson, not lost upon me here. The team championship battle, which has been headed up this season by Spire and Channel 199, also in play too, is those two at the front of the field for Spire. Lead us back to the green flag. Wilson with a fabulous restart. Casey Kerwin did not get going, and Femi Olot's going to be able to slide in right in front of him, and Parker White's going to lead the field on the high line, going into one.
That was the play. Try to get Femi right down low. Make an effort for it as they're 4 wide and a spinner almost. Now a touch. Ryan loses sideways in the middle of 1 and 2. He saves it. We're going to stay green for now as they chase for the white flag. They're 4, nearly 5 wide. At the back of the pack, Blake McCandless and the rest of the gang settling through. Luza loses out, and Steven Wilson, James Pike sees the white flag for Michigan.
Steven Wilson will have the opportunity to bring us back across the stripe if he makes it back. We're going to finish on the next lap. White flag taken. Final lap of the race here in Michigan. Steven Wilson chasing history and chasing a spot in Charlotte.
And again, Femi can try and play spoiler. He can try and go for his first win of 2025, but all in it to help the 6-time race winner this season get right back onto the stage of the NASCAR Hall of Fame. Tucker Minter spills down the back straightaway as Wilson tries for his 7th checkered flag of the year.
Big send from Casey Kerwin in the middle of 3 and 4. He's going to try and run it up the racetrack to get a run off the high line, and it won't be enough. Steven Wilson is going to come across the line. He stands like a rock in front of this field and stands alone as the winningest driver in a single season in the history of eNASCAR. 7th win for Wilson comes at Michigan, and he is racing for a Coke Series championship once again. Steven Wilson does it again, Kenneth Bueno, and for as dominant as he has been in this season, that one took a tremendous amount of skill. You saw a lot of why he is one of the best of the best in NASCAR over those last 2 laps.
He is now in rarefied air, James Pike. No one can touch Steven Wilson from a single season standpoint. And again, it just came down to right timing. He was deep in the muddy water coming down pit road right when he did, and the yellow comes out. He stays out, and he just masters 2 laps. Steven Wilson breaks through the ceiling, James, now the winningest driver in a single season ever.
This winning moment brought to you this evening by Coca-Cola, the official fan refreshment of eNASCAR, as Steven Wilson is the first driver to lock himself in to the Championship 4 at the NASCAR Hall of Fame, and he will have an opportunity to go race for his 2nd series championship in 3 seasons as we take a look at our Coca-Cola move of the race, Kenneth.
And this is all it took, a green flag restart on overtime with his teammate Feli Olatunbosin. Hand-in-hand effort to be single file before turn 1. It can be so hard to orchestrate that movement into the corner and try and defend, hold up a brick wall to all of those red banner cars behind. But that's all that really Steven Wilson needed. Just some dirty air to be dealt with those drivers in the back for Femi to play a bit of defense. And for Wilson, it just took 2 good laps, to which he's put many good laps over the course of tonight's race. It what helped him carve from the mid-pack to P2 before the strategy kicked in. And that's really all that Wilson needed. As soon as he was in that clean air, no one could stop this Spire Motorsports number 77. Stays out on a 2-tire call that he took under green, and Wilson takes the win. Single file, holding off Kerwin and Parker White and the rest of the gang. And Wilson just had enough time and enough wiggle room to make it happen.
And let's not forget, massive night in the team championship as well, because Femi Olot was able to come home 3rd, so they pick up big-time points in that battle, primarily against Channel 199. But that picture will change significantly, too, as we look at the playoff bracket. We know part of it now, the inevitable. As it's seen for so much of this year, you figured Steven Wilson probably was going to be racing for a championship at Homestead. He will be racing for another Coke Series title.
Just huge to get this win here in Michigan. And again, in the next gen era, only one other driver had won his way into the championship 4. That was Garrett Lowe 2 years ago. Brian LaPrade said, I'm going to spoil the party last year. But Wilson just continues to do what Steven Wilson does this year. And just like Evan said, weeks ago, anytime another driver would try and take the torch, Wilson would steal it right back and establish that dominance. He does so again in a conscious play to stay out. Wilson going to fight for a title at Homestead.
The Iowa Hawkeye watching over the field like a hawk in that regard, I think, KB. Impressed that you kept your composure on that. Good job, you. As we take a look at our results here from Michigan, Wilson, Kerwin, Olat, your top three. Parker White, Chente Salas, what a drive to come from deep in the field. 29th to 5th, plus 24 this evening. Christopher Hill, Malik Ray, Michael Guest, the Vegas Inferno teammates with a great run, and Bobby Zelensky with big points at 9th. Donovan Strauss completed the top 10.
You got to give a shout out to all of these rookies that performed well tonight, starting with Blaze Crawford in 12th. You look at Eddie Kerner, recovered from a spill on lap 1 to end up top 15. Quentin Warman top 15 as well. But on the other end of things, a bit more negativity for guys like Jordi Lopez, who had good position near the end of the race, tussled with Tucker Minter on the back straightaway. Like a Graham Boland, Matt Busa, Dylan Duvall had a rough mid portion of the race, but he recovers for top 20. And Daniel Falkingham in the 6th Karma Ford Mustang, that's your top 20 from the Irish Hills.
You look at some of these drivers a little bit further back in the field who fought hard. Connor Yarashak ended up pitting on that last yellow rally to finish 24th. And then you made the point, Tucker Minter losing all that track position and now may have to win at one of Texas or Phoenix just to have a realistic shot at making the championship 4. It is a tall mountain to climb and a tough pill to swallow after Minter led the most laps in this race and was such a fixture at the front of the field for the majority of tonight's proceedings at Michigan. So big work for him to do to make his way back into the title hunt. Let's turn our attention now to the new record holder, the 7-time race winner in a single season. No one's done that in the history of NASCAR until now. Iowa City, Iowa's Stephen Wilson is with Kenneth Bueno.
Here with the man now with 7 race victories in one season. Stephen, there are 2 sides of this story. One broken record tonight, now being the driver with the most wins in a single season, but now trying to become the first ever driver to win more than one Coke Series title as you lock yourself in tonight. Just tell us what those emotions are in this moment. How big of a relief is it to win here and now to get that ticket?
Yeah, it's huge. First off, I do want to say sorry to my buddy Eddie for that first yellow. Lap 1's way too early to be called in something like that, so that's my bad. But if there's a golden horseshoe, it's somewhere. But I've got it, and that was so lucky because I was going to run out of gas. I had to pit under green, but we were really fast. I think we deserved to be up there on speed. But yeah, me and Fenny both had to pit. We both thought short fueling. We didn't know if we could make it to the end, and just turned out to be the right strategy with the caution. I don't know who caused it, but I thank them very much. So that's cool. Want to thank everybody at Spire. We brought the energy like GGT. So I'm just happy to be here going to Championship 4 again. Been there every year and keeping that streak alive.
You know, we mentioned how unique the environment is at the NASCAR Hall of Fame. You've gotten a bit used to it, but it's still kind of a curveball for a lot of drivers and for sim racers in general. How much of an advantage will this give you having this win so early in the playoffs now that you can prepare just a little more for what that Homestead race is going to bring and what that new environment will bring as well?
Yeah, it gives us a head start on being able to prepare for Homestead. We still want to get Parker, my setup teammate, into the top 4 as well. So just to have another teammate there to work with us for most of the race. But we just want to be able to be strong at Homestead. We got to figure out the speed. We qualified better tonight, which was good. I think we figured some stuff out. So our race speed is really good. Our Q speed is really good now. At least it was here. So I think having a few extra weeks to work on Homestead. I know our boys have always been fast at Homestead. We've been really good there the last 2 years, obviously. So I think we'll do really good. And then it'll also be different because I'm in Charlotte now. So I'll probably bring my own rig here instead of being in something different for the week before, trying to prepare and learn that as well. So we'll see what it comes down to there, but I'm really excited to be back.
Going to be rolling deep with the equipment into the NASCAR Hall of Fame at Homestead, Miami. Stephen, congratulations on the win. Congratulations on the advancement into the Championship 4. We'll see you with the rest of the field at Texas. So Stephen Wilson, James Pike, trying to become the first driver since Ray Alfala to win more than one Coke Series title. And now he's got the golden ticket after Michigan.
And I think that's a great point that he made, not having to travel far this year, being a Charlotte resident now. It works out for Casey Kerwin in 22. May work out for Wilson this year. The next race on our stop and our road, rather, to the eNASCAR Coca-Cola iRacing Series Championship involves the Texas two-step, round 16 of the season. Race number 2 of the playoffs comes our way from Texas Motor Speedway. That broadcast you'll find on eNASCAR.com/live Tuesday, September 2nd, 8 p.m. Eastern. Countdown to Green will start at 7:30 with the Sunoco post-race report to follow. Kenneth Bueno. Texas has provided a lot of fun moments, especially, I think, a little bit further down the eNASCAR ladder in the qualifying and contender series in years past. And this place is going to be a lot of fun for the Coke Series drivers to tackle to start off September.
On the sim, this place has been fantastic. Multi-grooves, lots of tire wear, different areas of the racetrack between turns 1 and 2, and then that faster area in 3 and 4. This place has brought us classic after classic. Texas was a championship hosting race at one point in this series, James, so it has that level to bring the fire and bring the noise for everything that's going on in the playoffs. Texas is going to be fun.
A place that has championship pedigree in eNASCAR. Going to be one to watch in 2 weeks' time. That will do it for our race broadcast. Big thanks to Kenneth Bueno for joining us alongside all of the fun festivities here at the booth. And a big thanks to our team on Countdown to Green, Alan Cavana, Camille Salazar Hadaway, and Ryan Vargas. Stick around. We've got more coming. Keenan Kusin will join us on the Sunoco post-race report. And we'll get ready for all the action from Texas in 2 weeks' time. So we'll be back in just a moment. Post-race action coming up here just inside. Welcome to the Sunoco post-race report for the eNASCAR Coca-Cola iRacing Series at Michigan International Speedway. James Pack alongside Keenan Kusin. And Keenan, I really want to know, and I am going to ask whether or not the pit stop call for Steven had the intention of working out the way that it did, because that was a possibility. That was the minority possibility, theoretically, but it's possible that could have worked out the way that it did. A lot had to go right, but that looks like a genius call in the end, because it ended up getting Steven and Femi the track position they needed to end up at the top of the pylon when the checkered flag fell. How incredible that race was and how wild it was to see Steven Wilson go. And at the caution, when it came out with a handful of laps to go, he was ballpark, just off the top of my mind, 32nd, 3rd, 4th, I think, on the racetrack, and ends up staying out the way he had to if he wanted to win this race. Had no choice but to hang out there on older tires and see if he could make it work, and just drove the wheels off his GZT Energy Chevrolet and got it done for Spire Motorsports. Casey Kerwin second for the Kansas City Pioneers. How about Femi Ola third in this race for Spire? So Spire gets a 1-3. That's going to be so big in the team's championship battle. A huge boost for Spire this evening. Parker White in fourth. Great point night for him as he tries to go back-to-back on Coke Series titles. Tente Salas with a huge drive through to round out the top 5. And then the playoff grid here. We knew a lot of it going in. We know a little bit more coming out of it. Keenan, Steven Wilson is the driver that gets the job done and is the first driver to punch his ticket to Charlotte. So Steven Wilson is the first driver of the Championship 4 who is going to be competing for a title. He'll race in front of an in-person audience at the NASCAR Hall of Fame in Uptown Charlotte, North Carolina. 3rd year in a row that he's done that. So Wilson with plenty of championship pedigree and experience. For the other 9 drivers, it's their job to try and figure out how they want to sort out things between Texas and Phoenix, and potentially end up in a place where they could race for a championship. But a lot to go between everything that we saw tonight, everything that we're going to see at Texas, and everything that we are going to see at Phoenix in a few weeks' time. If there's any driver looking forward to Phoenix, I think in particular, Chente Salas is the driver that I look at, because Chente's had so much success in Phoenix, especially in the Contender Series in years past. He's been so good there. So that's a place where I could see Chente winning his way in at a place like that. A lot of these drivers have some speed. Tucker Minter also is a former Phoenix winner, so he'll have plenty of opportunity, I think, to be in the mix there. And also, you think about how this race panned out for Tucker Minter as well, was up at the front for so much of it and comes home 35th when it's all said and done. Tucker, and knowing Tucker as well as I do, and as much as I've seen him in Coke Series competition, he is not going to take that lightly. He is going to be very animated and ready to go to try and get a win in these next two races. So drivers to watch here as we get set to make things happen and really shake out this playoff order. But Casey Kerwin now joins us. Casey Kerwin, big run for you. Did you love the timing of that yellow? Did you hate the timing of that yellow? Did that completely throw off your plans? Where were you on that? Because it was your race there for a split second.
Yeah, I would have won if there was no yellow. Yeah, I mean, I sat there and saved fuel the whole run basically, and I could tell like people around me were still having to save. I think Chris said that him and Tucker were good, but like barely, like on their number, like probably close to sputtering at the end. Whereas I kind of conserved extra to, like, I had the green light at 4 to go. I could have pushed all the way to the end. It just took that 4 to go lap was to kind of catch back up because we kind of got spaced out draft wise. Yeah, I mean, I was good by a mile on fuel for at least if it stayed green, and yeah, I took the lead, and I can't say like in full certainty, but it looked like I was handling a whole lot better than Chris and Parker behind me, and I felt pretty confident that full push I could have, you know, kept a big enough gap and feel like we would have won. So yeah, just yeah, sucked. I mean, a good thing for us that Steven won, since he was basically a lock on points anyway. It wasn't someone from like below the cut or anything, but yeah, I mean, we ran the perfect race, perfect strategy. Steven would have finished 30th, and the caution comes out with 2 to go after he just had to pit and gets gifted the lead again. So yeah, and then it was just 3v1. I mean, he had obviously Femi on the front row with him, and then Parker, who's also a setup teammate of his. Like, I was just kind of outnumbered on the restart to even have a chance to get close enough to on the start. If we had another lap, obviously might have had a chance, but just was kind of boxed out on the restart, and yeah, one that got away. But yeah, still a good night on points at least.
Is it a points night for you? And I hate to dig into a cliche like that, but is that sort of the bright side you look at coming out of this, knowing that you put yourself on a really good points platform for Texas and Phoenix, and you can have a lot of leeway to sort of make it work for you in these next 2 races?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it could have been a whole lot worse. There's, you know, 38 more positions I could have finished worse than this. I'm not going to complain too much. Just sucked. It's been, you know, a long time since I've won, that we've been in position so many times this year, and that was by far the best position, and just to still feel like we kind of just got robbed there. So yeah, I don't know, it's hard to be super happy about it because I feel like we had the win pretty much locked up. Yeah, and it's just kind of the whole season. I feel like there's been probably 2 or 3 of other Stevens wins, or when we're up front at the end and he goes on an aggressive strategy that just ends up working because we can't stay green to the end of a race to save our lives. But yeah, I don't know. It's just, yeah, obviously frustrating, but I mean, yeah, we still got a good point tonight, and yeah, I think we're only like 7 or 8 points or something like that from second. So yeah, still decent. Just yeah, hard to be super stoked about it.
Is it maybe a little bit more of a motivating factor, especially now that you've done it and you've seen things sort of shift in the series a little bit over the past few years, to try and get back on home turf? In the post-race interview, Steven specifically talked about the advantage of not having to travel far with your rig. You sort of fall into that camp too. Matthews is not a far drive from the Hall of Fame. So I guess, how much does that help you in that situation, and how much does that motivate you to get back to that top stage?
I mean, I don't know if that really is much of a factor of motivation, other than I just want to be there. I mean, you know, it'll be 3 years since I won. We got robbed of getting back there in 2023 from late race yellow stuff at Phoenix, and I mean, yeah, we should be talking about being locked in and going there anyway, but yeah, just got robbed again. So it's yeah, I don't know. I keep saying it for the past 2 years that, you know, luck will turn around eventually if you just keep believing. But it's been a while, so hopefully, yeah. I mean, again, I've made the joke all year, but you know, it's maybe Stevens' luck will run out at the Final Four if we can get there, and we'll see. Yeah, I don't know. It's just I'm very motivated just to try and get back there, and just obviously being a home crowd, like, or being a hometown area, like I have a lot of friends and family that are local that can go and be a part of it, and it'll be a fun deal. But yeah, that's just if we can get there. So need 2 more good weeks.
Is it one of those cases where, because you brought up the concept and the idea of luck here a few times, is it a thing where you don't necessarily feel like you need to change how you execute because you've seen Steven sort of roll the dice and it's worked out? Is it a case where you feel like you run these opportunities over like 1,000 times and eventually it sort of plays in your way? And do you change anything based off that? Does it make you go more aggressive in some of these 6 years?
I mean, I mean, realistically, like, you know, this is probably the 3rd win now for Steven, 3rd or 4th win maybe. I know it's probably at least 3 where he's won from being in the luxurious spot of having, you know, as many wins as he had early. Like, you're just gonna do the opposite to try and win, and it just ends up working out. Like, for all of us that don't have wins or are racing for points, and even like in the situation tonight, he had such a buffer on points, he could be aggressive and try and go get the lead if there was a yellow, and then again, if there's no yellow at the end, he finishes 30th, but he's still dang near the point leader or would still definitely be the point leader, just from how many points he has going in. So it's just kind of the luxury of the situations he's been in. But I mean, no one in their right mind is, for the most part, is going to just like be that willing to just throw 30 points away if it stays green. But that's why, you know, 90% of the field doesn't do it. And I mean, you can ask Steven. Steven's definitely not, you know, thinking that that's going to work every single time. It just has happened to work out multiple times. So, but I mean, Steven can agree that it's not, you're typically not doing that like knowing it's going to work. You're just, you know, praying you get a yellow, and it's just worked out for him a lot this year.
Fair enough, Casey Kerwin. A big thanks for that fabulous playoff insight. Best of luck to you in the rest of the playoffs as we turn our attention to the driver who now owns the record for the most wins in a single season of the eNASCAR Coca-Cola iRacing Series. Steven Wilson for Spire Motorsports now joins us, tonight's race winner. And Steven, I know that's a record that you sort of had circled, especially as it's become more realistic in the second half of the year. So to accomplish that, what is the feeling that gives you? What is the significance and meaning that it holds within you?
Yeah, it's cool. First off, that it's 7, because Spire, you know, we're coming up 7s, 777. We added 1 more. And for Femi, that's a CR7. So that's cool. A record's always fun, but right now my mind's going to think about championship first. But yeah, after the season's over, you know, a record of wins in a season is definitely nothing to hold your head on. Obviously, with our season being like 18 races, I think it is, so it's almost half, which is just insane. But like Casey was saying at the end, it doesn't all come just by skill. Sometimes you just have to get lucky, and I've had that a lot recently, like with Indy and with here and with Iowa. Pretty much every win I've had since that big build a few races ago has been just right spot, right time, or right strategy, right time. So we have the speed to compete as well. It's not like I'm running in the back and just finding a way to win. I mean, I'm running up front. Obviously, I was about to take the lead before I had to bring it down pit road for gas. So it's nice to know that we have the speed everywhere. Just, you know, honestly, if I was thinking about championship right there, I probably would have taken a full tank of fuel when we pit it, lap 20 or whatever. But just going for it, and it's just gone our way so much recently, so hopefully it keeps up.
Has it been easier as the season has progressed, as you've banked these points to race, not to lose, but to actively race to win and to make these aggressive strategy calls? Has that sort of just freed you up the more success you've been able to build on, and has that sort of influenced things for you, especially in the second half of this year?
Yeah, in the regular season, you know, I already have 4 or 5 wins, and it's like at that point you might as well just kind of Hail Mary if I'm not running in the top few spots, because it's so hard to pass most of these tracks anyway. Tonight was a lot of fun. We could move top to bottom, and we had a really good piece thanks to the guys at NFR. So it's fun to get a track like that where we can move around, and it kind of mitigates the dirty air effects versus a track, like Pocono, where we were kind of running on the bottom to be super fast in most of the corners. So it's fun to have a track where you can move around and not have to think about just having to follow the car in front of you a certain length back just to not plow and then spin out. So yeah, it's really cool. Just, we can be aggressive with the moves too. Like tonight, I feel like we just had such a good piece that I was sending it on the bottom and driving around the top of some guys. So just right strategy, right time. That's really how it's been, and it's just gone our way.
What was the strategy like with you and Femi, not only looking at that final splash under green, but coming to the restart, knowing that you two had the track position and you were working together, not only to try and get you to victory lane, but with the team's championship on the line? I have to believe that was also in mind too, as you were figuring out what you wanted to do. Yep. Yeah,
it was big. Me and Femi were going to work together there. With being on the front row on the restart, we knew we just had to try to get each other clear and then work it out from there. He asked me every corner, going into every corner, he asked me where I was running just so he wasn't following me. And I tried to give him the top so that he would have a run down the straightaway and not be at risk of being taken side by side, which he did a great job there to not get side by side until the white flag down the back. So that definitely saved us from getting past there. I think if Casey got clear of him, he would have been at me pretty quick. So huge thanks to Femi. I love that guy. He's one of my best friends on here, and it's really cool to be able to be teammates. And I think we took a big leap in the team standings tonight. I think Zach struggled, and then Dylan kind of got unlucky there as well. So that's really cool. So we have a big lead in that. And then, yeah, we work together. We're racing in the same channel every race. So it's just great when you have somebody who's willing to work with you like that. And one of your best friends is a teammate on the setup side, but also a teammate at Spire.
I know, and I said I was going to ask this at the beginning of our post-race report, so I'm going to follow through on my word. Even though you managed to adapt to it in the end, when you came down, ballpark 10 laps to go, what were you two hoping for in terms of how the race was going to play out? Did you want it to go green the rest of the way, or?
No, we needed a caution there after we pit. We both short fueled under the caution and could not make it on gas. I think when Femi pit, he was out of gas, and I had about a lap and a half more than him, so I had to come down a lap later, and then from there we're just hoping for a yellow. I know Euroshack also pit. There was one more car that I passed out there, but once we got in front of them and it was just us two, you had to hope for a yellow and hope everybody brought it down so that we'd be on the front row, which they did. So it just worked out perfectly, and honestly, a wrong strategy. Femi was not happy. I was trying to stay locked in and not get mad about it when we had to pit, but Femi wasn't happy and saying he was on the wrong strategy, but thankfully it all turned out well.
Something about the sevens, I think, tonight. 2 year point, Steven Wilson. All the luck that comes with that number and all the skill that has allowed you to pick up 7 wins. Congratulations to Steven Wilson and Spire Motorsports on his win and their great run to right, the new single season all-time record holder for most wins in a single Coke Series campaign. Our next race will come your way from Texas Motor Speedway, round 2 of the playoffs in this first round of 3 races, and race 16 in the 2025 season. For the virtual Texas Motor Speedway, that broadcast comes your way at eNASCAR.com/live. Tuesday, September 2nd, 8 p.m. Eastern will be your broadcast start. Countdown to Green with Camille and Alan and Ryan comes your way 7:30 p.m. Eastern time that night. Going to be a lot of fun to see these drivers try and pull a Texas two-step into victory lane in the Metroplex in Fort Worth. A big thanks to everyone that was part of the broadcast this evening. For our Countdown to Green team of Camille Salazar Hadaway, Alec Havana, and Ryan Vargas. For the broadcast team, Kenneth Bueno up in the booth, and then for the post-race report team, Keenan Kusin, and then Drew Adams and the production team at iRacing, everyone behind the scenes that helps make these shows possible. I am James Pike. Thank you so much for watching the Sunoco post-race report. Congratulations to Spire Motorsports' Steven Wilson on his record-breaking win tonight at Michigan, and we will see you all in 2 weeks deep in the heart of Texas.